Going on, everybody? Welcome back to another dramatic episode of the Viall Files Going Deeper edition. I'm your host, Nick, joined by the household and my fiance, Natalie Joy.
Oh my God.
What?
Hates me.
What do I?
Typically, it's like the love of my life,
Oh, sorry.
the mother of my, and you're like my stupid fucking fiance.
No,
this
baby.
bitch.
No, I just thought.
I mean, no one would know because I cannot wear my ring any longer. It does not fit over my fat, swollen knuckles.
Oh, is that why?
Yep. I know. It's really sad.
Can't you put it like on a different finger?
That's what I was doing, was wearing it on my pinky. And then I was like, ugh.
Pinky?
That's
only
the
fits
only
on your
other
pinky?
it fits on.
I guess
It's a 4.5. It's tiny. And it won't go over my knuckles anymore. So I just felt the safest thing to do is leave it at home. You
I
know?
hate that.
I know. Well, I think the baby bump is
Marking my territory?
sign enough that I'm taken. Yeah.
Gotcha. Interesting. Well, we have another amazing episode. How do we do this? How do we deliver on such high quality programming?
Why are you so shocked?
Episode ever. I'm not. But,
Yeah.
you know,
This is typical for us.
it is typical for us. The one and only Taylor Green is our guest today on Going Deeper, talking about her drama on all things Southern Charm, of which she was involved in many. I really enjoyed our talk with Taylor.
I did too.
Yeah, we learned a lot. But we don't want to spoil anything because obviously that's why you're here to listen. We'll talk about it maybe a little bit on Tuesday on Reality Recap. Give our thoughts after you listen to her thoughts and make thoughts of your own. But before we get to Taylor, lots to talk about. We have some Housewives of Salt Lake City to get into. Before we do that, should we talk about the Barbie snub, the Oscar snub? Everyone seems to be freaking out about that. What are your thoughts, Justin? Do you have any?
I think they should have gone costume and makeup for sure. Like that's the part to me that I'm like, that was the whole point, was it was like practical sets and stuff. So that to me should have been, they created a whole world essentially for the movie.
So the big drama that's unfolding is that Margot Robbie and Greta Gerwig, the director and writer, I think she wrote it as well, were not nominated for Best Actor and Best Director, while Ryan Gosling, who played Ken, was. And the irony of that,
There is no Ken without Barbie.
Right.
Yeah, it's a movie about, the plight of women in a man's world, so to speak.
And then for the man to get nominated.
The man get nominated, but the women don't.
Did you see his statement though?
Yeah.
I thought it was really nice that he said to say I'm disappointed that they're not nominated in their respective categories would be an understatement. Against all odds, with nothing but a couple of soulless, scantily clad, and thankfully crotchless dolls, they made us laugh, they broke our hearts, they pushed the culture, and they made history. Their work should be recognized along with other very deserving nominees.
And I guess it just depends on what you think the Oscars should represent. There have been other, for example, in the past, like when Leo won it, a lot of people suggested that it was more of a lifetime achievement award rather than award for his role in The Revenant. Like, what are the qualifications for winning Best Director or Best Actor or Actress in your respective category? Is it solely based off their performances in that movie? Or is it more of a symbol for, bigger picture ideas or thoughts?
It's interesting because the Oscars is usually known to make like trendy decisions. So they're
Sure.
going to give the nominees to the trendy films. And Barbie was such a big film, but then they didn't get arguably the most important nomination for the film.
But this is about the fact that it's a movie about the plight of women in a man's world, and Ken got nominated over Barbie, which again, the irony is thick. It's comical how ironic
it's a missed
it is.
opportunity, I think, is the way to think about it.
If Justin was voting for the Best Actor, like what would your or Best Director, or what would your qualifications be?
I mean, at least for like that context, I think she was a good actress because she played a role that had a big impact on the world internationally. Like that's what I think the argument is.
Yeah.
So it's less about the performance and more about the impact?
Well, I think her experience like plays into the performance, and like the social reception of the film is like.
I also think it's easy to like chalk it up to like, oh, she's a doll, or like it's a dumb character. But I'm like, you don't play things dumb, and she didn't play it dumb. And like she's come out and like talked about the meetings that she and Greta have had about Barbie herself and how she's actually not stupid. She just doesn't have like the certain parts of our brain that we do, where we have like social cues, or we like have like these, thoughts of death or like anxiety or anything like that. So like reworking like how to portray that without it, like she didn't just play ditzy. So I think oftentimes like when you just throw it out there, like, oh, they're playing a doll, it's a doll. And Like, I don't think that's like makes it any less impressive, or there's less character work, or there's less like nuance to the writing and the performances.
I think it's good we're debating it though, because the Oscars is known to have a lot of politics behind money, and like a lot of nominations go to films that have a lot of money to like put on galas and dinners for the people who make the decisions.
Mhm.
So like the fact that audiences have recognized that that was like a poor decision, I think is a good thing.
I
But,
agree.
Yeah, moral of the story.
All right, moving on. Salt Lake City. Wild finish. We were discussing this before. I am just shocked by the number of fans out there who seem to still want to support Monica and are really angry at Heather. And we now found out that Monica is no longer coming back to the show.
Technically not confirmed, but
Well, Andy said on his radio show, I think just this morning, he still referenced like letting it breathe. He implied that maybe while she won't be back next season, that maybe in the future, if these women maybe mend fences or the dust settles, that maybe they could bring her back in the future. Andy didn't seem to close the door on Monica maybe coming back someday. But it also seems like maybe she's done filming.
at least for now.
I will say it was an extremely difficult episode to watch. I think just because these women don't know how a reunion works and none of them could shut the fuck up. I mean,
Lot
I
of
couldn't.
screaming.
It was just like Lisa Barlow needs duct tape. She, every time someone says something, she pipes in. It's extremely annoying. So I think all of the other housewives know how this works and they know how to argue. But maybe because this one's so new, maybe because the situation's so fresh and they were just so angry.
But the biggest screamer of everyone was Monica by a mile.
For sure.
Yeah.
Monica and Lisa couldn't, both of them, it was
Yeah. I've never been a
brutal.
Lisa fan.
That little like split screen that they kept doing, they never do that in reunions. Yeah.
And it's like Andy couldn't even get a
Mm-mm.
whole. Andy's like, "Can I get in here? Can I get in here?" And it's like they don't even hear him. They don't even care.
But I don't get why. I mean, I get Monica was good TV. Sure, fine, whatever. Like, it's not that hard. Like, Monica was good TV because she, again, is morally bankrupt and she is super messy and she is the daughter of her toxic mother. Literally, Monica said on the show, "I am not a bad person. Bad people
Murder children.
murder children." That's her barometer. So to Monica, as long as you're not murdering children, you're a good person. So
Jen Shaw's a good person in her eyes by that statement.
but it's kind of like,
Tea.
but that tracks with Monica, the lying, the deceit, the manipulation, the stalking, and then the whole episode, Monica's like, "What? I didn't stalk. I only drove past her house 4 times. That's fucking stalking." It was always like, "I didn't do this. I did that." And you're like, do you not understand the difference? There was a point where I honestly was watching and I said to Natalie, is she not like mentally well? Like it just seemed like Monica didn't quite grasp. Like Andy pointed out to her, it's like, how do you not understand why these women might be upset?
Yeah. I will say this isn't not me defending her, but I think she was like throwing out those qualifiers because she didn't have a chance to like speak. Because every time she started speaking, there was like Lisa or Heather like clapping back at her. So then it became like, "No, I wasn't stalking. It was 4," or like, "No,
But
I
the
wasn't."
But it's always, they're all lies. They all started with lies.
Yeah.
The entire conversation around the stalking, like the FBI asked her
Yeah.
to drive
Lies,
past
yeah.
her house, and then Andy's like, "Wait, so the FBI asked you?" And she was like, "I didn't say they asked me." It's like,
You
no,
literally
you
just said that.
literally just.
Semantics.
So what
Yeah.
it seems like is that at some point she was a witness for the FBI, and the witnesses said, "Well, hey, if you're a witness, if you notice anything else, let us know." So Monica decided, let's go.
They
like,
want to hire me.
let's- they
the
wanna- let's do a
FBI want me to
stakeout.
work for them.
So she decided to stalk Jen Shaw. She is a classic. She's a fan. She is a fan who doesn't have housewife pedigree.
Yeah.
I'm just sorry.
She admitted it. She said, "Yeah, I did want to be on this couch."
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she cheapens the brand. She does. She's a grifter. She is someone who just like will manipulate her way into rooms or on couches without having the clout, without having done anything. Not every housewife is Kathy Hilton or Denise Richards. I get that. They're not all Beverly Hills housewives. But like, it seems like the majority of the housewives they cast, like whether they've earned it on their own or through marriage or whatever, like are doing something or are part of certain circles. They're not just, they didn't manipulate their way into a show by deceit and lies and manipulation, and then only to come out and find out that they were internet bullying their peers. And I don't understand, like,
How much do you think she manipulated to get on the show? Because during this reunion, they had asked Andy, like, why did you let a troll on the show? Andy said, I never knew. She said that in her first casting interview, she said, I ran a troll account.
And Andy said, quite honestly, Monica, if we knew that, we wouldn't have casted you. And
Do you believe that, though?
I do. I really do.
Okay.
I just, listen, you know more about Housewives than I do. I just think, yes, producers are trying to make good TV. I get that. But I don't think they're that desperate, to cheapen their brand. And
Not even after Jen Shaw, because I think there was a little panic of like, where does this franchise go?
It's possible. I don't know. They left that in. They could have edited that part out. They left that in for a reason. Andy saying that doesn't mean it's true, but I don't know. Is it really worth doing that? Like, again, they could have left it in there. So is it really worth them leaving it in there to have Andy Cohen, their host, the matriarch or patriarch, of the franchise, and then put him on the show and have him publicly lie for no reason?
He's an executive producer, so I think he didn't know, but I think his actual producers, someone knew who was casting. That's my take.
I don't know.
But I think she served her purpose. I think the Jen Shaw era was coming to an end, so they needed someone to like come out with a big bang so that they could next season just restart.
And I don't understand why, yeah, Heather lied. The black eye thing, I just feel like is way overblown. Heather fucked up. And what Andy said to her about what she did was accurate. But like the difference between Heather and Monica, like that's how you apologize. Heather was trying to be a friend for the wrong reasons. She made poor choices. She fucked up. But her intentions were to be a friend. Misguided, no doubt. But like we all make mistakes. It's not a matter of whether she made a mistake or not. It's the fact that Monica clearly doesn't get it. Monica clearly doesn't think what she did is wrong. She downplays everything. Her whole burn book was just fucking weird. It's just and maybe that's just how her brain operates. She's just not on the same level as these other women who have different priorities. Monica's whole goal is to be famous, is to be on TV. That's the purpose. There's nothing else, and I don't know. I'm
going to propose something. Some would say that Heather had bigger allegations or she was doing more harm than Monica was because she was saying things on multiple different shows regarding the black eye where she was saying oh, it could have been production. It could have been another housewife.
Sure.
It could have been someone who snuck in the house versus Monica was just a troll that was just spewing.
Well, I don't think Monica should be arrested.
Yeah.
There's a world in which Heather's lies about Jen Shaw could have got her into some sort of legal trouble. It's possible. You know what I'm saying? She was lying for a criminal and she might have had to face those consequences. I'm just saying, I understand, for these other women, the betrayal and deceit and I just wouldn't for people to act like Heather and Lisa and Whitney and Meredith are somehow supposed to look the other way because of their relationship with Jen Shaw. Heather pointed out, it's just no, I made that mistake before. I've been friends with the wrong people. I'm not going to do this again. And I just feel like fans are just oh, well, she's the best TV. It's sure, but it's not that hard to get messy people. To cast Housewives, they have to come from a certain pedigree. That's the show.
Yeah.
I also think Heather I think a lot of that is taken out of context. I think she said she was joking. The producer thing, it definitely probably wasn't funny, and that some producers probably got questioned and whatever. But I can see how on the show she said she was drunk and hit a cabinet. Isn't that what she said to the other woman? And then there was Jen Shaw being a spider laid eggs in your eye. I think it was constantly this different. What could it be?
Yeah.
And
so I don't think that is really a crime. I think she just was leaning into the protecting Jen Shaw and then joking and trying to.
I think Andy made a comment that it was because there was internal investigations. That's she was saying these things while they were looking into the situation.
And to be clear, what Heather did was wrong.
Yeah, and I mean she owned up to it, so that is a difference.
Yeah, she started off apologizing to Andy, to the women, to the fans, to the producers, to the cast, to the crew, to literally everyone.
And she's I fucked up.
And Monica still has not. Andy ends the reunion being do you have anything left to say? And she couldn't say obviously I didn't mean any of this. I meant all of this to expose Jen Shaw and not to hurt these women. So the fact that these women are hurt, I am sorry for that. She couldn't do that.
She does literally the opposite. There's an excuse for everything, and she is so her mother.
Yeah.
you know, and it's just like, she's just,
Also, her tapping into the security cameras at Jen's house and listening to Lisa Barlow talk about like the Snoop Dogg thing and then pulling that out later and Lisa being like, I never told you that. And then Lisa putting 2 and 2 together that's how she knew. So fucking creepy.
Yeah.
Like she's sitting at home watching Jen Shaw's security footage and like listening to her conversation.
it's fucking weird.
That's
and when
the
you,
part. Yeah, that's the part about Monica that's insane. Is she's been looped in with these women indirectly for like 4 years.
Yeah.
and a fan first.
A
And-
fan,
and-
yeah.
Yeah. And when Heather went through, was it Heather or Lisa? I think it was Heather. Maybe it was Lisa.
Who did what?
Who just kind of articulated like how they see the relationship with Monica as someone who they've known for a long time, who has been a fan, and then got us with security cameras, infiltrated, started working for Jen. The fact that Jen was a criminal doesn't like let Monica off the hook. You know what I'm saying? It's just like,
Yeah, they're 2 separate things.
they're 2 separate things. And then used, you know, fine. She took down Jen Shaw. Good for her. But it didn't stop there. You know what I'm saying? And so had it stopped there, fine. She could be like, oh, it was all about Jen Shaw. It was like, no. Jen Shaw being a criminal just seemed to like play into their benefit. That's all.
Yeah. Well, even Lisa said, she said it's not about the troll account, it's about the deception.
Mm-hmm.
So it's
Yeah.
like the fact that she came on the show and like kept going deeper.
I totally agree too with Andy and Lisa. Like, if Monica would have came on and instead of leading with I cheated on my husband with my brother-in-law and was like, I was a part of this troll account. This was my only involvement. And like, I hated seeing stuff about y'all in there. I, advocated for us to only keep it about Jen, whatever the fuck the truth is. I don't even know if she knows what it is at this point. But if she would have led with that, I do think it would have been very different. And maybe she'd have a chance with this group. But like,
It's a good point. Yeah.
Everything about, especially episode 3, said that Monica like doesn't get it. It doesn't register. It's over her head. She's her mother's daughter. And like, to me, like the women pointed out, I would never want to be in the same room with a person like Monica because she is so toxic and so unaware of her toxicity and so willing to make excuses for everything in real time. There's always some bullshit excuse. And listen, we have all made mistakes. We've all done things we've had to like apologize for. We've lost friends for. We've hurt people we love. We've all been there. Some of us acknowledge it, make a difference, make a change, show remorse, actually try it, and then set new boundaries and expectations. Heather comes across as someone who's willing to learn from a mistake. Not that she's incapable of making them, but she's willing to learn. Monica comes across as the opposite. So for people defending Monica and using the Jen Shaw of it all to criticize Heather and call her some sort of a hypocrite because she made a mistake just like Monica, it doesn't track for me.
I think they're both Delulu, but Heather apologizing was the Salulu, right? That's what it is.
Yeah.
the Salulu.
It's wild.
It's nuts. It
Wild
really is nuts.
stuff.
I wonder what season 5 looks like. And
Yeah. I think they start shooting soon, like in a couple months.
They'll have to add, won't they?
I think
add a woman.
my theory is that they're going to keep for sure everybody but Monica
Yeah.
so that they like can have a second chance at just like being a good group of women.
Maybe more Mary?
Probably, yeah.
If she'll come back.
Mary's so prickly.
In what way?
Well, she's clearly in her own world. And yeah, she's great comic relief. She'll say whatever is on her mind. She's very direct and she'll say it to their face, but like she doesn't make sense half the time. And she's very sensitive and prickly. Yeah. Like
But she's also like harmless. Like
Sure.
she's not like her words aren't
yeah.
necessarily doing much.
Yeah. Mary also seems like intelligent. It seems like Mary, whether I agree with like Mary's like moral compass, all of it or not, that she at least has one. You know, like Mary has her own values, but she does try to adhere to them. Where Monica, I don't think there's any, again, I'm not a bad person. I don't murder children. I think that said a lot about who Monica is.
I think it a lot. Also, her not understanding that because she didn't invent the rumor, but because she is the first one to say it on camera and announce it to the fucking world, she like doesn't get that those two are different. She's like, no, but I didn't start it. It's like,
Yeah.
no, but you just notified literally everyone. No one knew about it before you said it.
That's you starting it. Yeah.
So,
And think about it. Her mom abandoned her as a little girl to go chase her own dream in New York to be a star. And that sucks for Monica and the whatever trauma she experienced. So it makes sense that Monica is just as obsessed with being a star, and the competitiveness between her and her mom is like deeply rooted in who she is. And I think that's her only driving force is to be more famous than her mom. And I think that's her compass.
Scary, yeah.
Yeah. She's not a good person. She just isn't, and maybe she was at one point, but I think she's too far gone. And unfortunately, she is her mother's daughter.
And she has so many daughters. It just is like, I hope you can be a better role model for them because it's so sad.
Yeah. And the whole get your kids' names, my kid's name out of your mouth. It's just like, how can you go on a show like this and be this messy and be such a bad example to your children and then act like being a parent is a top priority for you? I don't understand that.
It's bizarre.
It's bizarre. But fun to watch.
Yeah.
What a season.
Truly.
What a season. Well, I think we're getting close to Taylor time. Before we get to Taylor, we're here to remind you that we got an episode tomorrow. It's our update special for everyone. It's an update special classic that everyone gets to listen to, and boy, is it a good one. There's a call on there that is really heartfelt. It's really fascinating. It's our third call. It's really great. All the updates are great, but that one really warmed my heart, and that's tomorrow. That's episode 698, which means on Monday, Ask Nick, episode 699, and on Tuesday, episode 700, which are our guests for episode 700, Tom Sandoval and Tom Schwartz, on the premiere of Vanderpump. Vanderpump starts next Tuesday. So we will obviously be talking a little Bachelor, little Vanderpump, little Traitors, probably some Beverly Hills Housewives, in addition to serving you up our most chaotic episode in the history of the
That
Viall
was
Files.
insane.
It was fun, though. Yeah.
It was so fun.
Get to know Tom and Tom, with us. It'll be wild. You won't want to miss that. That is Tuesday. It's another reality recap / going deeper. And then on Thursday, we have a special guest for you on Going Deeper that we can't.
Allie, have you started working on that sizzle yet for the Toms?
I'm afraid to.
I'm so excited to see it.
I don't even know. I don't have a
We gotta
vision
talk about
for it.
I have a vision, I think.
I was jaw was open. I've said it before, butt cheeks were clenched.
Yeah.
Texts were being sent to both Natalie and Justin, wondering if I was in a simulation.
It was wild. I had fun.
It's a great episode.
Yeah, it's a great episode.
Very fun.
You'll want to tune in. Don't forget to send in your questions at asknick@theviallfiles.com for all things texting office hours, mediation, all of the above. We have a great texting office hour for you today with Taylor. All right, let's fucking do it. Taylor Green, everybody. Drizzly. That's right. The number one way to buy beer, wine, and spirits with delivery to your doorstep when you need it. Drizzly is the go-to app for drink delivery and all your dry January needs. So it doesn't matter if you are dry this January or maybe if you're pregnant. For everyone, Drizzly can be the app for all your delivery needs because they have both the alcohol option and the non-alcoholic option. Drizzly, we've talked about it. We love them. They make the world so much more convenient because it does not matter whether you want to keep the party flowing. Maybe you want to send a last-minute gift. Maybe you're
feeling lazy and you just don't want to leave the house.
Yeah, or just want to send a bottle of wine to the party you don't even want to go to. It's like, hey, I couldn't come, but here's some
But this
wine.
wine can.
Yeah. Either way, they make life so much more convenient. So if you are looking for some options or variety in your life, they're thinking about Drizzly is they have a lot of those options. They have your classics, Canada 1, Don Julio Reposado, or Bullet Bourbon, and a bunch of things you haven't heard of before. They have a great selection. So if you are running out of whatever it is when it comes to alcohol, let Drizzly be your go-to app for alcohol delivery. Again, the number one app for alcohol delivery. Download the Drizzly app or go to drizzly.com. That's DRIZLY.com. The go-to app for alcohol delivery. Must be 21 years or older. Not available at all locations. Are you trying to eat a little healthier in 2024? Well, let Hungry Root help you do that by making meal planning easy and nutritioso. Build healthy habits that won't disappear by February with Hungry Root.
Whether you're braving the cold or dealing with crowds, grocery shopping this time of year is the worst. I hate it. That's why Nick does the grocery shopping for us. Why not stay home and let Hungry Root handle it? With Hungry Root, you can kickstart a week of healthy eating and get groceries delivered right to your door. Now we can both stay home and cuddle and you don't have to leave me.
There you go. And they have a lot of great varieties, of great selections. If you're tired of eating the same things over and over, let Hungry Root come up with a lot of great, delicious dinner options for you. that are good for you and taste great. Everything about Hungry Root is convenient. You select the meals that you want. They deliver to your door. It's easy to make. Prep is 20, 30 minutes for almost all of their meals. It saves money. It saves time. You're reducing waste, and it's delicious. That's what it's all about.
The best thing about Hungry Root is they recommend recipes and groceries based on your taste, but they also have fresh produce, high quality meat, pantry staples, healthy snacks, sweets, so much more.
Right now, Hungry Root is offering the Viall Files listeners 40% off your first delivery and free veggies for life. Just go to hungryroot.com/VIALL to get 40% off your first delivery and get your free veggies. That's hungryroot.com/VIALL. Don't forget to use our links so they know we sent you. Taylor,
Hi.
welcome.
Thank you for having me.
I'm glad you're here. Thanks for coming.
Not gonna lie, I am a little nervous.
You are nervous?
Yeah.
That's why you had those mimosas on the way.
Exactly.
Yeah. Why are you nervous?
Well, I came out here by myself. I was like, I have all my friends that were wondering who was going to come out here. My family, who's going to be out there with you? It's like, no. You guys need a break. Like, y'all have been behind my back, supporting me, calling me, checking in, my second therapist. So I was like, you guys get a break. I can do this on my own. I've got friends in the city, so I'm going to meet up with them later tonight.
All right. So it's not because you're interviewing with us.
No, no.
Right.
Honestly, people wanted to, yeah.
Some people are
a lot
scared.
of people were wanting to come in. They're
Yeah.
like, I want to see. It'd be fun.
Well, we're very glad you're here.
Yeah, thank
very
you.
excited to be talking with you. You've had a hell of a season.
To say the least.
Yeah. How is
Yeah.
your heart?
My heart, it's still beating.
Okay. Well,
Thank God.
progress. Yeah. I don't want to get accused of anything. It sounds like don't have it not.
My heart
sound-
is still beating.
Okay. We're going to try not to kill you this interview. Now that the dust has settled, the reunion has been recorded. It's been out. Are things on the up? Are things kind of still fairly low for you, or are we still on a downhill progression in terms of where you're at mental health wise?
I would like to say, or it's probably just kind of steady at this point.
Okay.
Filming the reunion is like a therapy session from hell. I remember last year saying that it was probably one of the top 5 worst days of my life. Just coming out of it, feeling like an absolute shell of a human. And so this season or this year, it kind of feels like the same thing. I really have no idea where I stand with a lot of people amongst the cast, like the girls especially. I've had a few reach out to me and we want to get coffee and just kind of catch up and hopefully be on the up and up. So it sounds like that's kind of what we're striving for. But
who's reached out to you?
Actually, Leva and Vanita have reached out.
Okay.
I've been talking with Madison. Her father passed away, sending condolences to their family. I know it's been kind of crazy what our cast has been through just in less than a year.
Family tragedy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry for your loss.
Thank you. Yeah.
We kind of joked before we started that you're involved. You were involved, at least in the season, in drama with
Everyone.
pretty much everyone. Yeah. Let's
Name
see.
the person.
Yeah.
I was
JT,
there.
Austin, Olivia,
Whitney,
Shep.
Mhm. Yep. Pretty much everybody.
Yeah.
Madison. Yeah. Everyone.
Where do you want to start?
Where do I start? It's like the very beginning.
Let's start with maybe the easiest ones to address, and then we'll get into the more complicated relationships. Like maybe JT is the easiest one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's easy.
Like, why the fuck were you wasting time with JT?
He's been a friend. I've known him for many years. And so when he told me that he was interviewing for Southern Charm, I was like, oh my gosh, that'd be so awesome. He's a great friend. We were actually just traveling around Europe together and we had a great time. He'd always kind of put off these flirty vibes, but that's just how he is with people and everyone. So I didn't really see any kind of camaraderie or relationship progressing amongst the two of us.
Right.
But I guess he had other intentions and it was unbeknownst to me a little bit. So when it finally was coming out, I was like, JT, if you can't read the room, I've got a lot going on right now, buddy. I was like, and I love you to death and I love our friendship and your support, but
I mean,
taking it to the next level is just this
when
is
he was
not the
just
right
like,
time.
I love you, I'd marry you tomorrow. It's like, what the
Whoa.
fuck? It's like in the
It's
middle
like-
of all this other shit going
Yeah.
on.
It was just another thing where I was like, JT, read the room.
And then Shep
read
comes
the
up and
room.
he's like, let's go talk. And you're like, okay.
Yeah, that was, oh my gosh. It was every single moment during this season, I felt like I was just drowning. It didn't matter who I was with or even if it was just on my own. I just felt like I was drowning and I would see the surface and I would come up to take a breath of air and I would just swallow so much water and then just continue to drown. So it was really tough. And, trying to navigate all of the drama while also trying to be respectful to like Olivia and putting our drama aside while she and her family are dealing with what I know now, like one of the hardest things that a family and a person can go through. So it's just like really tough to try to do your job, but also like respect the boundaries.
Yeah. Where do things stand with JT now? Has he accepted that he never has a chance with you ever? Or
you're just saying there's a chance. No, I love JT. He really
sure
is. He's a great friend.
Because he might not hear that the same way you mean it. He's like, oh my gosh, he loves me.
I find myself saying jokes a lot, and then it backfires on me. I'm like, I'm joking. It's a joke. Like, come on, you guys know my personality. I'm always wanting to be lighthearted and funny, and I think maybe that's why Shep and I got along so well, is because we don't take life seriously.
Do you think he accepts that?
I think so.
You guys are just friends.
We have a great friendship, and he knows my boyfriend, and so.
Do you think it was fair for him to put that on you when he did?
I mean, you're well within your rights to say what's on your heart, what's on your mind. Yeah, again, it's like we have a job to do, and maybe he just was like nervous in that moment, but I was like, this is not the right time to be doing this. Also,
there's like, not that he had a shot to begin with, but he was like in a costume when he said
it. Was the Bieber hair for me.
Right? Yeah.
It's like,
and he seems
we look ridiculous right now. At least he
put
wasn't.
a lot of work in to get that waft going.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I know.
There seems to be a team involved.
I mean, he must have blew dry it 50 times over because it's normally all back. So having it full in his face was really funny.
I don't mean, like, I feel like I'm hard on him, but he's got that kind of, short guy, kind of overcompensating, and then does the whole like, it's like, I grew up knowing guys like that where they would try to cut you at your knees and kind of go behind your back and play the nice guy with the girls kind of thing. And, I don't know. He just kind of reminds me of one of those guys.
I think that probably is like a part of his real personality, but he executes his job well. So
what do you mean by that?
People want to see like, what are you going to bring to the table? He's like, okay, I got it. I'll bring it to the table. When Madison said, is this the guy version of me? I'm like, yes, because Madison knows what she needs to bring to the table, and she does it. So he's kind of like the same.
I think it even
way.
Teased Austen saying like, you've said you're a gentleman so many times, but like, let's talk about.
Everybody has their skeletons in the closet. JT's been around. Like, he's been in Charleston for a very long time, and nothing is hidden in Charleston. It's a very small city. And so you can sit there and call somebody out for their BS, but it's like, look in the mirror too. Yeah.
Whitney, what was going on there?
Yeah.
Also, I feel like you got the short end of the stick there.
I did, because Whitney never films. And so he can't really like speak upon much of anything because he like refuses to really talk about anything.
Like, why
when
is he on the
filming.
show then?
So I'm honestly confused about that. Like, I know he's an executive producer, but he never, like, he doesn't have a say so on what gets.
Wait, he's an executive producer?
Supposedly. But he doesn't.
I don't know everything there is to know about Southern Charm or its origins, but like, how, maybe for those who don't, how did this whole group
Patricia
and Whitney. How it came about?
The origin stories of,
This is probably one of Shep's favorite stories. He actually was living next to Thomas Ravenel when he first moved to Charleston from post-grad. And I guess Thomas had invited them out to go get some drinks, and he was like, I met this guy. He's from LA. He's like out here, just kind of, his mom lives out here. They've got this awesome house on the Battery. He finds the Charleston dynamic fascinating, and he wants to do like a script, or maybe not like a scripted show, but he wants to create like some sort of show. And it really was supposed to be based around the Peter Pans of Charleston, because it is majority of men that live in Charleston. And he just found that fascinating. He was like, there's a story here, and like, there's old money. Let's get into this. So they did like a little pilot show at Shep's farmhouse, like about 2 hours outside of Charleston. And then the network kind of picked it up and like, well, let's get some girls involved in this. We don't want it to just be like,
bunch of guys.
Like a bachelor show.
Yeah.
But so they got the girls involved, and that's kind of how it came about. But Whitney was like, he was the producer on that. He was the one that was kind of taking the lead.
Huh. So now he's an executive producer and he's kind of on the show
Yeah.
every once in a while. But other than when he's not exposing people's nudes,
I think now is a great time to get our mimosas,
yeah.
which I believe
Like,
are being brought in right
Before
now.
we answer this question,
Yeah.
this is Allison,
great.
everybody.
Awesome.
Wave to the camera,
Yes,
Allison.
thank you, Allison.
Yay, Allison.
Do you want to pop the bottle, Taylor?
Sure. I'll try not to take anyone's eye out.
Interesting choice with the Simply Orange
Thank
juice.
you.
Allison, let's talk about orange juice quality when we.
Nick is
I'm very particular with my orange.
Very
You did a great job,
Oh,
Allison.
did you hear about the whole thing with
I'm a
Simply
freshly
Orange?
squeezed guy. Yeah,
Yeah.
My dad is like,
you did
it's
great.
cancer. He's
What
like,
is it?
cancer. It's like supposedly fake orange, like
It's like fake orange juice. Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, Dad,
okay.
you know,
You did
everything
great.
everything gives you cancer now. I
Yeah.
was like, we're all gonna die. It's
We're all
fine.
gonna die. If we can't trust Simply Orange Juice, what can we trust?
I know.
Well, it's funny when
Right.
when Simply Orange Juice first came out, they were like, it's
The best.
simply orange juice. Turns out, quite the
Yeah.
opposite.
Yeah. It's simply
Wow.
more than that.
It's simply not just.
Yeah,
orange
it's
juice.
something like if you read the label, it says like oranges from like Peru and Canada.
Oh.
And you're like, what?
So not Florida.
Like, okay. And yeah, I don't know. It's kind of
Oranges
weird.
come from all
There's a
over.
whole
Yeah, but
There's a whole conspiracy theory. If you guys have Craig on, he can go into the conspiracy theory about Simply Orange Juice.
Oh.
I'm sure
One of
he
many.
can.
Yeah.
One of many.
One of many.
You are partially on the pandas aren't real train.
Okay, so I started watching videos and I was like, how are those actual real animals? Like they're so dopey and they just roll around and how do they
You're
live
like,
in the
that
wild?
is a person in a
So I
costume.
was like, maybe Craig is kind of onto something. Okay,
Okay.
I'm gonna do this. Cheers to you guys. Thanks for having me
Oh
on.
my God, no, cheers to you.
And hopefully I won't take anybody's eye out. All right.
Okay.
There
Woo!
you go.
All
Good.
right.
Nicely done.
Yay.
Like a pro. Like a pro. Every time I have a Bravo celebrity on, we drink.
We're kind of pros at drinking early in the morning.
Cheers.
Cheers. Thank you again for having me.
Thanks for coming.
Back to Whitney.
All right. So when Whitney is not sending people's nudes out into the wild and showing other people, he is also kind of executive producing this show.
Kind of executive producing. I really don't think he has any say in who gets brought on, what the edit looks like.
Is he the only person who has said he's an executive producer? Are other producers like, yeah, no, he is? Or is he like,
That's actually a good
Trust
question.
me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have never solidified if he actually is or not. I've never had like somebody
Okay.
be like, no, yeah, he is.
Interesting.
I don't even know if I've seen his name like pop up on the edits
the
or
credits?
the
Yeah.
credits.
Hmm.
But so
gonna
I
look
don't
now.
know.
I'm
He
gonna
very
look
well
now.
could not be.
So what is the full story behind that now that you're here and uninterrupted? You were feeling frisky and sent something, and then all of a sudden everyone found out about it.
Yeah. You know, I could also sit here and say I want to take that to my grave. Who wouldn't? But you know, it's part of our job. Charleston is small. Things get around. And my story behind that is that it was a very drunken night. It was like 2 a.m. My friend and I had been out for Halloween. And so I sent a picture of the two of us. And I was like, what are y'all up to? You know, and then I found out that he and Shep were like gallivanting around town and bringing women back to Miss Patricia's house. And so, of course, my petty self decides to send what I say in quotes, like a very inexplicit nude. It was not, you know, straight up like, you know, here's my whole body, like, come get it. It was not that at all. It was very inexplicit to the point the next day where I was like, what the fuck did I just do? And I was like, who is that? And he goes, I don't know. I thought it was you. I was like, no, that's not me. Because like you can't see anything. And Craig actually said that. And he was like, you literally can't see anything. It's very dark. So that's why when like we had to discuss it because that's what we have to do.
So wait, are
And-
you saying that if you send a nude to anyone on Southern Charm, that is considered fair game to be discussed?
I mean, it will be discussed. Like it really will be. There's
Well,
no
how
like
do
there's
they
no
draw the-
secrets.
How do they draw the line between, like, you know, it's a TV show and revenge porn?
Exactly. And that's pretty much I really haven't looked into all of that until it was brought to my attention. I was like, wait a second, yeah. I was like, you can't be doing that. You cannot be going
can't-
around like showing
No.
people, you know, something that I sent to you in confidence. The only reason I wasn't so upset about it is because you can't see anything. I was like, I'm not gonna bring this to court because it wasn't this like explicit thing that like you can see all of my, like you can't see all my junk or whatever. And I was like, I don't have a.
Wasn't Madison like?
Oh yeah,
you can
but
see her vagina and your like whatever
Yeah.
she said.
and I was like, that's kind of like that's Madison though. She's the shock factor. She's
Yeah.
got to be like, okay, she executes her
deliver,
job well.
yeah.
Yeah. So it was like truly unfortunate that it got brought up, but I will own up to everything that I've done. And so that's why I was like, we're going to sit here and talk about it. All right, let's talk about it.
Did you feel shamed by your castmates?
Not shamed. I understand why people, not shamed for the nude, but understanding why people are like, hey, why'd you do this to Whitney? Like, why Whitney? And that was the
what do you
big
mean-
question.
What do you mean to Whitney?
Or not to, like, why did you send this to Whitney? Like,
Oh, okay. Because I'm like,
why did you do this to
is he
Whitney?
a victim in this? Like, I don't know.
Yeah, like, why did you send this to Whitney? Like, why him? He's another friend in the group. And it was just, I was like, that was flat out because I was coming after Shep. Like,
Yeah.
I just heard
Was your
things
toxic
about
side?
them. Yeah, it's my toxic side. But so I regret it a
Can you
million times
explain
over.
to me, and that really isn't a question for you, but Shep's not here. What's his deal? Like, he doesn't want to receive a nude from his future wife? What's up with that? That's weird.
Yeah.
Maybe you can send me nudes.
No, I'm aware.
Whatever.
I'm aware. It is
what the fuck is
interesting.
that? I
He's
don't
like,
understand.
It
I
is-
hold them to a higher standard.
And I
than, like,
get that.
I
Like,
don't-
I
I don't-
understand.
I don't get that.
It's odd. But Shep and our relationship, we go really deep. Obviously we dated for 2.5 years. So like there's a lot to unpack there, but he's a very interesting human that is like, you can't just put a description to Shep Rose. Like there just is no perfect description of who he is. So like, yeah, if I was feeling frisky and like sent something to him, he would just kind of brush it off. And I was like, what is the deal? But yet you can go out and like receive nudes from other women or like get DMs from women being like kind of provocative and you love that and it's enticing and it's fun. But I think it's because it's wrong. Like that it feels like it's exciting and fun. And because it's not wrong, if I do it, then it's not exciting, I guess. That's my interpretation,
Yeah,
but I don't know.
mean, it's just still weird.
It is still weird.
Yeah.
It is.
Because, like, I get the whole it's taboo, the excitement behind doing something wrong, but, like, still receiving a tantalizing picture from his girlfriend,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. So I stopped doing that
But
to him.
one
But
one
Yeah.
of many weird things about Shep, I guess.
yes, one of the many.
Well, since we're talking about Shep, where do you guys stand now?
We're very good friends.
What does that mean? Because if I'm being honest, watching this season and even watching the reunion, you two still seem to enjoy letting the other person know that you guys still have some sort of connection. And you guys, at least it comes across that you both kind of get off on making sure the other person know that, you're still special to me.
Right.
And I get it. You dated for
Yeah.
2.5 years. I understand. But, you're in a new relationship now. He's, I don't know,
Yeah.
doing his thing. And it still feels like you guys are still trying to stay emotionally connected, even as friends. And
Right.
it just allows and creates these kind of toxic situations. Even like when Shep had his moment on part 1 and very humbly kind of talked about his drinking problem. And then when he was done, kind of pulled you aside and weirdly and bizarrely said to you, I really wanted to tell you that in private. Which is, to me, I thought was such a, quite honestly, a bit manipulative of him. Because it's like, if he really wanted to tell you in private, he had plenty of time.
Yeah.
He didn't have to, And so that was him afterwards, after telling everyone, pulling you aside and just letting you know, yeah, I should have told you privately because, we used to date 2.5 years ago, but I didn't, but I'm going to say I should have. But it was really just about letting you know that he still considers you special.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I can totally see that from the viewer's point of view. Trying to actually understand like our dynamic. Shep is the type of person where he will always want to be friends with his exes, he doesn't have enemies. I mean, I'm sure he does, but he's kind of one of those
He
people
does
who's
his
like,
best
he's
not to,
unaware
yeah.
of his enemies
Yeah.
type thing. And so after we broke up, he just wanted to be friends, like right off the bat. And I was like, this is not how it works. Like, you hurt me, like deeply hurt me. And I'm still trying to figure things out. And then I find out you're traveling around like a month after that we've been broken up, and you're, out and about doing this and that with other women. I have women messaging me, telling me about your hooking up with their friends and all this stuff. So I was like, I can't do this right now. And he's just the type of person that wants to be friends with everybody, who wants to have that friendship. And I am too, but it's just like
it's a two-way street.
It is a two-way street.
If you set a boundary,
Absolutely.
he needs to respect that.
Yeah. And I'm the type of person that I want to be friends with everybody too. But I was like, I just need my space. Like, give me some time to like heal from all of this. I can't just go into like being friends with you when 3 weeks ago you were talking to my family about marrying me. And so I was like, give me my space. And he just wanted to jump back into everything. So as the season unfolded, we really did get the chance to kind of mend the brokenness a little bit. I probably was a little misled. I thought that maybe he was interested in getting back together, and that wasn't the case. But, after my brother's passing, he was one of the first people to show up. He drove up to Raleigh and was there to be with me and my family. And so that was really big. He was good friends with my brother. And so for him to show up like that, I just was like, bullshit aside. Like, you were there for me, and I appreciate that. And now, like, starting from this point forward, we do have a good, close friendship. He still is in like group messages with my family. And it might seem like,
how's your boyfriend feel about that?
Yeah, I know. He's understanding of it. Like, he gets it to the point where it's like, okay, this is somebody who is good friends with your brother. And he was friends with your brother. Like, that's kind of where I have to see it. And I'm like, I understand that it's awkward, and we just came off this really rough season, and I came off this really rough breakup, and I was like completely spiraling. And even in this season, like, my emotions are spiraling with him a little bit. So, but he's like understanding that. He goes, I understand where you're saying that y'all's friendship moving forward from that point when he showed up for you and your family, moving forward, it's a friendship, and it's nothing more than that. And he actually, when he was wanting to have these meetings with the guys like Austen and Craig, to talk about his, downfalls and what he's going through, he had also reached out to me, but I didn't know that it was upon that. I didn't know what he was wanting to talk about. He wanted to go for a walk on the beach. And I was like,
he did try.
He did try.
Okay.
So he just said, hey, I would love to go for a walk on the beach. We can take the dogs out. I was like, no. I'm dating somebody and I'm respecting my relationship. I would like for you to respect my relationship as well. And so, but that was why he wanted to.
That makes sense. I mean, and I guess, yeah, it does add a lot of context to it.
Yeah.
But nevertheless, you're not his girlfriend anymore, and
Right.
you're in a relationship. And despite him going through what he's going through and dealing with his stuff, and which is admirable that he's addressing it, that's like, breakups are tough. And like, sometimes you have to do the, crass or harsh thing or whatever you want to call it by being like, yeah, we're not friends,
Yeah.
and maybe down the line we can be friendly with each other, and we can be in the same room, and we can introduce each other to our partners if that ever happens. But like, and we've all done it, right? We've done the thing where you date for a long time and you break up and you got a group of friends. I mean, that, long relationship ago, but like, one of my girlfriends, we broke up. I was just like, we can't date. We weren't getting along, but we shared like best friends.
Yeah.
And it took like a year to break up,
Yeah.
even though we were broken up, we never got back together. But from like the time we actually broke up to like, it was like completely out of each other's life, was a whole nother fucking year. Cause you keep getting brought back
Right.
into the same room, and then it's very easy to go out, hook up, shit like that. And you have to like finally just say, no, this isn't okay. We're not together. Like,
Yeah.
someone has to be the dick, so to speak.
Right. And I think Craig does a good job at that. He was like, you can't just be friends with your ex. Like, he never wanted to really have a friendship with Naomi after they broke up. And when she was back on last year, he was like, I can't do this. Like, I don't want to have a friend. I don't want to be around my ex. I don't want to do that. But I mean, I might be an enigma in some sense too, where I'm like, I can handle it. Just like, give me my time and my space. But eventually I'll get there, and eventually I can have that friendship, and I'm like, zero strings attached. I mean, in no way do I ever think that Shep is trying to like sneak his way back in. In no way will I ever want to get back together with him. Like, what's done is done. Like I've moved forward and he is a friend to me and that's
Okay.
it. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Period.
Period.
Do you want to get into Austen or Olivia first?
Y'all's choice.
Austen.
Dealer's choice.
Dealer's choice.
Austen, I guess.
All right.
Well, they're kind of combined,
Yeah.
so
yeah.
to speak.
Yeah.
Did you listen
2 in
to
1.
our episode with Olivia?
I did. Yes.
Okay.
I actually listened to it on the way over here.
Okay.
I think for a long time I've been going through a lot with the season, with the airing, with everything that happened with my family. It's just like I felt like my cards were dealt and I was just I felt like, okay, I got out of like we're done filming. Okay, now we're gonna be able to like air, it's gonna air and everything's gonna make sense, everything's gonna come to light. And it didn't. And I kept on like my jaw kept dropping every single episode that came out. I was like, oh my gosh. And so
Jaw was dropping because you saw it in a different context, or you didn't like the edit, or you felt like things that were filmed weren't shown, all of the above? Like, how exactly
I
was
think
your jaw dropping?
a little bit of all of the above, but just watching myself,
Okay.
like watching myself spiral, having my close friends and my family just going, I've never, like, this is not the Taylor that we know. I've never seen you act this way. I've never, like, this is just so bizarre to me. I don't even want to watch it anymore. So yeah, it's just like coming off of all of that, I felt like I just wanted nothing to do with the show, with anything. I knew that Olivia was going and doing podcasts and I was like, I can't listen to it. I know it's going to be bad. I know it's going to be like bashing me, but it wasn't the case. You know, I listened to the episode. She's very heartfelt. She really is. She's a good friend and I will always have that door open whenever she's ready to have the conversation. I just feel like looking back and then listening to the podcast, we're never on the same page. We were never on the same page. And
How so?
I mean, I'll take responsibility for that. I felt as though like the whole situation that happened after I told the truth, and I told her in like the worst way possible, you know, I had to tell her at that dinner, which was like the worst time ever. But I had been reaching out to her all that day, that morning. I was like, can we please meet up? Can we please meet up? I'm trying to do my job. I know we have to do this on camera, but like, I have to tell you something. I have to be honest with you. And it was like, she just kept on being like, no, I'll see you tonight. I'll see you tonight. I was like, oh my gosh, I can't do this. Like, I'm not camera trained. I don't know how to do this. I don't know how to do my real emotions while also having to do it on camera in front of the entire world. And so I was like, I'm going to pull her aside right when she gets here. And that was wrong. Like it should have been on one-on-one. It shouldn't have just been this, like, I have something to tell you. I lied to you. I'm really sorry. Okay. It's out there. Like, we're done. Can we move forward? And that's because I'm watching Shep and Austen, and that's kind of how it was with them. Like, they let it out. They let the truth out. And then they're like, all right, buddy. And they literally hugged right afterwards. And so I was like, okay, that's probably how it's going to go with me. Like, me and like Olivia will just be like, it's really shitty of you that you lied to me, but thank you for telling me the truth. Okay, let's move forward. And then that, you know, obviously wasn't the case. It was just like,
Well, those boys have a very unique
yes,
relationship.
Yes.
I mean, guys in general, I mean, usually the dynamic is different than women friendships. Not always, but those guys are even more bro-y than the average bro.
They definitely know things about each other that they will take to their grave. Those three are, I mean, it's bizarre, like very bizarre. In the sense, I'm like kind of jealous of their friendship because I'm like, that's how I'm the, you know, I've been wronged in the past. And I'm like, life is too short. I don't want to hold grudges against anybody. I don't want to have, you know, like unforgiveness in my heart towards anyone. And so that's just, I was like, okay, this will be like, Olivia is a very understanding person, and I hope that she can understand, you know, that this is what the conversation I wanted to have with her before we got to that dinner. And then, you know, of course, thereafter, I was like so apologetic. Like, I'm so sorry I lied to you. You know that I wanted to tell you, like, only you. I was like, I am trying to figure out how to navigate telling you something that I should have told you from the very beginning, but also knowing that our lives are projected out for the world to see.
What exactly did you cop to
in the truth?
When you told her,
I was like, so going back to the coffee scene, I was like, should I just start from the very beginning?
Sure.
Julie Andrews.
Yeah.
So after reunion last year, when it was like just an absolute shell of a human, I've never felt more empty in my entire life. And the first person I saw was Austen. We went to brunch that next morning, and I was like, I don't want to be sober. I was like, I was like, mimosas. Like, I can't. Yesterday was hell. Was absolute hell. And so we're drinking mimosas at brunch, and then I get home to Charleston, and I'm like texting my girlfriends that I want to go out for wine. Like, yesterday was so horrible. I don't want to be sober yet. I don't want to think about anything that was done or said. And it was like back in Charleston that I started leaning on Austen a lot. And I was like, I just feel so broken. I feel so empty. Like, do you think that, what did I even say? I feel like I blacked out. I don't even know what happened. And he was a shoulder to cry on. And then with like the background chatter of everyone being like, you and Austen, he's in love with you. And Madison even saying it, he's in love with you. And you guys should give it a shot. It should be Taylor and Austen. It should be Taylor. So like in that moment of just brokenness, I acted upon it. And do I regret it? Absolutely. Looking back at everything, it's like, holy cow, this is what has come out of all of this. And I never wanted it to be that way. So I should have immediately gone to Olivia and said, this is what happened. And I'm really sorry. And I was very broken. And I made out with Austen. We had a conversation because it was something serious. And like, people are like, oh, why did you talk to your family about it if you guys weren't like hooking up? I was like, well, it's not like we were sitting around the Thanksgiving table being like, so my feelings with Austen. I went to somebody who I trust. And that's who Austen was like, go to somebody that you trust. It's not a mutual friend. That person was my brother. And I was like, I trust my brother more than anybody on this planet because he knows Austen and he gives me like strong, sound advice. And immediately he was like, what are you doing? He was like, you like, don't follow through with these feelings. Your emotions are all over the place. You're very broken. I know you're very broken. And he was like, and then it's Taylor, it's Austen. Like, come on. And so I was like, you're right. You're right. I was like, I wanted to talk to you about it because the situation at hand is very serious. Like, this is my ex's best friend, and this is one of my good friend's exes. And so that's why it was talked amongst our quote unquote family, meaning it was just my brothers. Like, it's not just because it's family, it's somebody I trust.
So it was just a makeout.
Just a makeout.
Olivia is convinced you guys had sex.
I know.
Yeah. Is she still convinced you guys had sex?
Yes.
And JT said it too.
JT, I think everybody, and that might be part of what comes out in the second part of the reunion. Everybody on that couch was like, we believe that it wasn't just like it was like, yes. It was like, they definitely did. And
here's what I'm so confused about this is that like, it is if you're being interrogated and Austen, the guy you allegedly hooked up with or didn't hook up with, isn't part of this group and in their same room and friends with guys that they share no secrets. And I'm just trying to figure out like why there's this like, did it happen? Did it not happen? When the other person, Austen, who was involved in the story, isn't really saying anything.
Yeah.
So I guess it's isn't that kind of bizarre?
I mean, this is what I've learned about Austen. And like, I do care about him a lot, but he only cares about one person, and that's himself. And I've learned that the hard way. I felt like I was trying to protect him. When we went into this, I was like, I don't know how to navigate this. I'm walking into filming for the first time, like by myself. I was like, I always had Shep to kind of protect me or like have my back. And now I'm like walking into this by myself. And so I was leaning on him to be like, how do I navigate this? I really want to just tell Olivia the truth. And it was like, no one's going to ask us if we made out. Like, that's such a middle school thing to ask. They're going to ask if we hooked up. And the answer is no. I was like, okay, you're right. And also too, in my eyes, the sober conversation that was had was more important than the drunken kiss. So I'm telling Olivia, like,
and that the sober is you guys talking about your feelings.
Right. Talking about our feelings for each other. And I was like, that to me is more important than the drunken kiss. And so when I'm telling Olivia that and telling her a lie, essentially, I didn't tell her the full truth. I was telling her a lie.
So just so everyone's clear, what was that?
Only the conversation part.
Okay, so
and I left out the kiss.
Okay,
right.
Hey, Austen and I, we talked about our feelings, but you didn't tell her about the kiss.
Right.
Okay.
And then she point blank asked me if we had ever done anything, and I said no. And it was like in that moment, I knew, like, I was like, she knows I'm lying. And after that scene, I just gave her a big hug and I started crying. I was like, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. And then I was like, I don't know what to do here. And I was like shaking. Like she texted me and she was like, I never want to have that conversation with you. Like you were literally shaking. I was looking at your hands. You were like shaking. And I remember one of the producers being like, you're sweating. Are you okay? I was like, I felt like I needed to say it, but I was protecting Austen because we had this like quote unquote pact that we were just going to stick to. We had the conversation and that's it. The kiss doesn't matter. Like, what does it matter? And now I'm like, it means everything. Like, had we just been like, we made out one time and we had a conversation, I'm really sorry. Like,
So
I wish I could go back and say that.
Austen
so bad.
was on board with like not telling Olivia
yeah.
and was like, don't. Did he say like why you shouldn't tell Olivia, or was he just like, this will be really bad?
I don't think it was like this will be really bad. It was just kind of a non-factor.
Okay.
It was like, it was a drunken kiss. It was stupid. The conversation that we had was actually like real. And looking back, I'm like, no, it wasn't. You know, we were just like dumb and stupid and lost in our emotions. It wasn't like a real conversation. But in that moment, it felt real.
Sure.
Like,
no, I get. We've been there.
Yeah.
Everyone's had those kind of like.
Yeah.
You're caught up in the moment.
Exactly. So I wish that I could go back and just like have told Olivia the truth. I should have run to her like from the very get go.
So do you feel like because you told her that lie, that is what is causing Olivia and quite frankly pretty much everyone else to assume that you and Austen did way more than just kiss and have sex?
Yeah. I mean,
'Cause,
everybody
like, you're
thinks it
almost
was
like say, well, fine, we just made out. Like, but you're
right. Well, I think a part of it too was there was like, she thinks that there was a trickling of truth that was coming out.
Yeah. I mean,
And
she feels she thinks you guys hooked up and kind of low key dated behind people's back. It feels like she's convinced there was a whole relationship.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm figuring out. And it sucks that like I can't change her narrative on what she believes in that. There's nothing that I could do or say. It's like after how I handled it was very wrong. Looking back at everything, what I did was very wrong. Confiding into somebody who I was selfishly just saying that this is my friend, I'm going to confide in him as a friend. It's like, no, that's actually my good friend's ex. Like, I don't need to confide in him. That's my ex's best friend. I don't need to be confiding in him. So like, I fully take responsibility and like what I did was wrong. And I should have gone immediately to Olivia. But I'm like, not only every single time his name was brought up, it was like this anger that was just like, she was just still wasn't healed from him. And I was like, I don't want to kick her while she's already down. And I was like, nothing came of it. Okay, it's not that big of a deal. Nothing came of it. It's not like it was not like these feelings were pursued for a very long time. It was just like a one and done thing. I'm just going to forget about it, especially because our lives are on TV. And I was like, if I bring this up, then it's going to be a whole thing because people were so adamant about us giving it a shot, give it a shot, give it a shot. And I knew that it was going to be brought up. And if I could go back, I would have immediately just told Olivia and be like, I have to tell you something. There's so many times that I wanted to and I just didn't.
So, and you're saying all this knowing that I guess if you weren't telling the truth, if you guys hooked up, I guess there's always Austen there who could come out next season and be like,
oh yeah,
Taylor, you're lying, you fucked, like,
yeah,
so.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, he totally, and if he had that in his back pocket, he would. Like, like I said, I don't want to throw Austen under the bus, but like he only has his own back.
Well, it to me, it's incredibly bizarre that you're the only one under fire.
Yeah.
And Austen doesn't
Seems
even
to be
have
getting
to.
a pass.
He doesn't even have to answer questions. It doesn't feel like.
I think it's because I am unapologetically myself. And like I said, I mean, I'm not camera trained. I don't know how to stop talking sometimes.
Do you think it's maybe also because you're the woman in this situation?
I was about to say, I
it
think
very well could be that. I mean,
Yeah.
I was looking back, I was like, wait a second. Whitney wronged Craig by hooking up with Naomi, and Whitney and Craig are fine.
Like, I really enjoyed meeting Olivia. I thought she was very sweet, and
She is.
But it just one thing, and I asked her about this too. It doesn't track with me that she has such vitriol for you, doesn't believe you, and is hanging out with and going on trips with Austen, you know, and forgiving him and being friends with him. That was hard, continues to be hard for me to digest
Understand.
that and
Yeah.
understand that.
That's kind of what I was hoping Reunion would be based around, because not only in the meantime from filming Wrapping to filming Reunion had, you know, this tragedy happened that now I can relate to what Olivia went through. And she was on my doorstep and came to my house and sat in bed with me and cried. And I was like, no, you know, again, like all drama, all BS aside, like if we can just move our friendship, it might not ever be the same from what it was, but if we can have our friendship from where it is here and moving forward, because this is what's real. Like what our families are going through is so real and so horrible. And then, you know, for her to be able to understand all of that and for me to be able to understand everything that she went through, to have that bond, I just thought that that's where we were going to be moving forward. And she'd been checking in on me, and, you know, we would text over holidays and like, hope you're doing okay. And when the episode came out with her brother's passing, I texted her, I hope you're doing okay. I'm thinking about your family. She's been dating somebody. I'm dating somebody. She went on vacation with Austen. It seemed like, okay, everything is in the past. Like what you did as a friend was really shitty. And I don't blame, I'm like, yes, it is. And I wish that more than anything, I could have taken all of that back and like taken back the lie, just come to clean to you, because look where we are now. And so I thought that at Reunion, it would be like, there's real things going on here. Austen and I are good. We were just on vacation together. We have this weird, strange bond. And I think that that's what's important here. So what you did was really shitty. And let's just move forward. You know, our friendship might not ever be the same, but can we just move forward, or let's just move forward? And that's what I was hoping for. And it honestly just, again, it wasn't that. I feel like I'm always hopeful because I have such a forgiving spirit. I'm always willing to be open to listening to somebody. And I'm not going to try to be like, well, you did this, or I still don't believe that. I'm just like, I'm going to take it for what it is. I'm going to take what you're saying and accept it and move forward.
What was the thing that you brought up at Reunion when you were like, forgive people how you want to be forgiven?
Yeah, forgive how you would want to be forgiven.
And then like Olivia immediately knew that you were talking about something. She got mad at that. Do you regret saying that, or do you feel like things are just, you know, it almost sounds like on some ways you're just trying to find different ways to defend yourself.
I mean, I felt like I've been on the defense the entire year. Thereafter, as the show started airing, I felt like I was trying to defend myself, but I also was just trying to stay disengaged.
Yeah, but what was your reason for bringing that up?
The reason for bringing that up, I do regret it. Honestly, I never wanted to stoop to any level. I felt like I was pushed to say it. And as you know, like we're sitting there for 8 hours. Like there's a whole conversation to be had. And you know, I'm sitting there and I kind of sat there for about 2 minutes. And they're like, well, go ahead and say it. Say it. Say it. I feel like the Real Housewives.
Yeah.
That was Olivia saying that to you.
Yeah, Olivia.
So for 2 minutes.
I mean, they're like,
even if
come
it was
on.
15 seconds.
Like, yeah, it was. I mean, I just
forever.
sat there and I was like, I don't know. I don't want to
name it.
I don't
name it.
Name it.
Name
Say
it.
it. But yeah, and then you know, Andy's sitting there staring at me, and that's very intimidating. Craig is sitting next to me. He's like, Taylor, just say it. Like,
Well, that's kind of fucked.
just say it. And I was like,
So you got basically dared into saying it.
the face that I had after I came out with the whole Thomas thing, like a ha ha ha, bitch, I got you. That was not my face. That was not the face that I had. I was, again, very shut down that entire day. I didn't even want to be there filming. I was like, I don't want to go to Reunion. I can't do this. I'm a very broken human. I'm going through one of the worst moments of my life while also getting hate mail throughout this entire season. I mean, I've had people saying karma's a bitch, isn't it? Like hurtful things. Like I didn't even want to be there. Sorry, I don't really want to get emotional at all. But
It's okay. Very cool.
yeah, I didn't even want to be there. And so like for that to come out and then for them to pan to my face like I did not have that emotion on my face whatsoever. I did not want to say that. I was just trying to have this moment with Olivia being like, comparing apples to apples. Like, hey, you
both
also
made
lied to a
mistakes.
friend. Like, you've made mistakes. We all have. We've all lied to a friend. And that's what I was trying to get at. It was like, can you not have some sort of grace for me? Like, I lied to you. You also lied to Catherine. Like, that's what I was just trying to compare. And instead it was like flip, reverse, like I'm a bad friend all over again. And
yeah. So, you weren't trying to like get
I was
back
not
at
trying
her.
to ha ha
It was
ha
just
moment.
more, yeah. I mean, I get it. Like
No.
you got the world coming down on you
Yeah.
and you're just like, holy shit, am I the only one who's ever made a mistake in this room?
Yeah.
I feel that energy.
Yeah.
And we recognize on this show, I get what you're getting at. Like, even when Austen was, Shep rather, was talking about his drinking. I mean, like, these shows are edited. We know, like facial expressions from 5 minutes ago are used 10 minutes later.
Right.
Shep was talking. Andy asked him about drinking. You didn't see Shep's mouth move, but you heard yes.
Mm-hmm.
We're reality TV professionals.
Yeah, you get it.
So everyone listening, they get it. So you were upset about what face they aired at that moment. Yeah.
Because it was, I mean, then again, it goes back to, there she is again.
Mhm.
She's just trying to throw Olivia under the bus, and she's a bad human. She's a bad friend. And that's not how at all I wanted to go into Reunion. That's not the intentions that I had, was to be like this ha ha ha, I got you moment, or I've just like been waiting to use it. And I mean, I've known about it for over a year. It's like I could have used it during the season and been like, Olivia. But it was like, I'm only human, and I got to the end of my rope and I was like, I have been absolutely annihilated. I've been crucified this entire season, and I was really hoping for some sort of grace in this moment. I think Austen said it. I just want to get things out, and whether we move in any direction, whether it's a good one or a bad one, I just want to be able to move. And that's kind of what I was hoping. Obviously want the latter. I want to be moving in a good direction with Olivia, but it was just like, can we just like, please put this to rest once and for all and move forward? Like, have a little bit of grace for what I've been going through. And like, I'm not trying to play victim here, but it's like, you understand what I'm going through. And on top of it, I'm being absolutely annihilated on national television. Like, is there any grace, like, for the friendship that we had, that you could just go, I'm breaking down and I'm going to be there for Taylor.
Olivia seems to be pretty steadfast in her feelings.
Yes.
Yeah.
She's a very strong-willed person.
She was. I said to Natalie last night, but Olivia would be hard to argue with. She remains very calm when she's mad, and that's a deadly combination.
She mentioned that you were the only person on earth that she told, and you kind of questioned that. Do you?
I mean, if I did something, if I made a mistake, I would probably the next day, I'd be like, oh my gosh, this is what just happened. Like, if I slept with somebody, I'm not just like not telling people. If it was so many years ago, I was like, I don't think I'm the only person. Like, at that point, I'd only known you for a few months, and I was like, I don't think that I'm the only person on earth. Plus, if I was, I mean, Thomas is going around telling everybody, because I mean, Madison already knew about it. She brought it up last year, and there's people that clearly know about it. So I did not want to bring it up at all, and I do regret that. And I walked out just being like, I really am upset with myself. Like, I just don't know when to shut up. And maybe I should have just, when they're saying say it, I should have just said, I'm not going to say it.
Knowing that you got baited, I don't know. To me, how could they literally asked you to say it?
Yeah.
Well, I think because she hinted that she had something.
So what?
And
Yeah,
so I
but
think
like,
everyone was like, well.
Yeah.
All she said at that point was, hey, like, you've made mistakes as a friend before. Like, you acknowledge you were a bad friend to Olivia.
Yeah.
Yeah?
I probably haven't, like, in the whole season, it probably doesn't look like, and I probably didn't, because I'm sitting there, I probably didn't acknowledge the fact that I was like, I'm a really shitty friend, and I apologize for wronging you. And that being is because after the pheasant dinner, and we're having these conversations via text, I kind of thought that Olivia and I were on good terms. I'm like, okay, she's texting me, asking me, like, what am I going to wear to the scene? She's excited to come up to the lake house. I mean, obviously this was all before her brother's passing. And then obviously that all happened. And that was like a shock. I immediately driving over to her house, like, this can't be real. It's not real. It's not real. I'm calling everybody, like asking if they've heard from her. And then I show up to her house. And it was from that point, I was like, this is all dumb. I was like, what just happened to you? This reality world and the cameras and everything. I was like, I'm following your lead on everything, because I could not imagine continuing with this, like with filming. But she found that to be kind of like therapeutic for her, which, there is no right or wrong way to grieve. And I'm glad that she was able to like continue on, because it was important to do so. Keep yourself busy. But I was like trying to follow her lead, and it felt like our friendship kind of like being there for her, and our text conversations and our phone conversations, it just felt like we were able to kind of put everything aside and then move forward with our friendship. And she's coming up to the lake, and she's texting me pictures of what she's going to wear, and I can't wait to be there. I'm so excited. What are you going to wear for dinner? The guy, like, going up to the mountain with the guys is going to be so much fun. And then we get to the lake, and that all happens.
She's texting you this?
Oh, yeah.
And this is after she knows about you and Austen.
And I had, in our text messages, I was like profusely apologizing. I'm so sorry again. I don't know how to navigate all of this with cameras in my face. I want to be honest with you, not the world. But again, that's my job. That's what I signed up for. So here I am. I'm having to reap the benefits here, or reap the repercussions.
Reap what you sow.
Reap what you sow. Yeah. Thank you.
I was like, I don't know. Something like that.
You've had to take your beating.
But it's just, it was very confusing, because then we get up to the lake and it was a whole different narrative. And then she leaves, and then she's texting me saying, please come up. I'm so sorry how that went down. I'm so sorry. Please come up to Shep's. We all want you here. I want you here. Taylor, I want you here. And I'm bawling my eyes out with my family. And I'm like, I don't know what's going on. I thought Olivia and I were in a good place. And then she just accused me of sleeping with him. And I'm utterly confused. I'm like,
so she was like begging you to come and hang out with the group, and then you get there, and then it's like, it was like a setup?
I walked in there and I felt like there was some tension, and I was a little confused.
Filming?
Yeah, we were filming.
So they were trying to convince you to come to film?
I mean, Olivia had been texting me, please come up. Everybody wants you here. I want you here.
Nick, this was when Shep said to her he didn't feel bad for cheating on her.
Yes.
Oh.
That was the time. Yeah. And now I'm like, I shouldn't have even gone up there. But
mean.
Yeah.
I ended up going up there because Shep had even called, and he's like, this is outrageous. You should be up here. Like, I invited you up here. And I was like, I don't know what to do, but I feel completely isolated. And I'm crying. My mom is confused. My parents are like, what just happened? Like, we just had a great conversation. It was the four, my mom, my dad, me, and Olivia had a great conversation. We're sharing laughter. We're in a good space. And everything went south when we went down to the dock. And that's where I was just like, what is happening? And then I get up to the cabin and like Shep's house, and I could feel some tension, but I was like, I thought she wanted me here. And then watching it back, it was like, oh, I put her into a bad mood. But then why were you texting me that you wanted me up there? It was very confusing. So like, I didn't know.
Do you think that was
what
her
our friendship really was
doing her job almost? Or like were producers like texting her get Taylor to come? Or because you're right, that doesn't make sense.
After Olivia and I parted at my house, I was not supposed to go up to the house, but Shep was like, this is outrageous. You are coming up here. Like, this was the plan. What happened? I thought you and Olivia were supposed to have a good conversation. What the hell is going on? You get your ass up here. We're supposed to be having a good time. And I was like, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. Because I'm at full confusion at this point. There's been so many different things going on, different avenues with different cast members. And I felt like, again, I just was drowning the entire time. I don't know what to do. So I'm like, I go up there. And I was excited because I'm like, okay, cool. Olivia still said that she wants me there. I'm glad to be there. I know that I'm on good terms with the guys, so I'm excited to be up there. Also, Shep's Mountain House is like one of my happy places too. It's 30, 45 minutes from our lake house. And so I was like excited to be up there. And then watching it back, I was like, oh my gosh, like that. I didn't know that I was making her uncomfortable. And, the Olivia that you saw coming to my rescue after Shep said what he said, that's the friendship that I thought that we had, because we had this texting friendship that was like, I'm here for you. We're on the same page. I got your back. Like, don't worry about anything. Don't worry about the scene. We're going to have a conversation and then everything's going to be going back to normal. And that was just what I thought our relationship was. And so I was just very confused when things would start to unravel. And I was like, I'm just confused. Like, I have no idea what to think.
Do you think there is hope for you and Olivia?
I will always have that hope. I mean, Olivia she really is a genuine and kind soul. Like, that's why we connected so easily. We bonded really quickly. And I mean, I still remember the time that we did. It was on Shep's back porch and we just sat there and we were like, I was like, I don't bond with people at this age really. Like, I have my friends, I have my friend group, but we were able to bond so quickly. And so I know her heart, and I really am hopeful that like we can get on the same page. I feel like we've just never been on the same page. And it really does hurt that she still believes like that it was like an ongoing thing, or that I was going behind her back while also telling her that she should be giving it a shot with Austen. And then
Why do you think she thinks
dating
that?
or
Why
whatever.
do you think she's so convinced?
I honestly think that she always thought that Austen and I had a thing for each other. And I could kind of feel it. Like, even while Shep and I were dating, I could feel that. But I was like, you have to understand that Austen is not like, he's a very flirty personality. But I was like, he's not that. Like, we don't have any like kind of connection. And, in my brokenness, I tested that. And I was like, okay, this is not real. Like, we do not have a connection whatsoever. But I mean, that's probably why she thought that. I don't know. But it sucks and it hurts that like that still is the narrative. And I'm like, okay, so if you believe that, can we just like, you can call me a shit friend and call me a liar or whatever, but can we please just like move forward at some point?
Let's assume you and Olivia are never going to be able to mend fences. Have you given much thought in terms of what you learned from this experience, and regardless of what happens with you, Olivia, like, how do you want to move forward as a friend to whoever you are friends with? Because it does, at least on the show, come across at times where when you are at your lowest, whether it's drama going on with you and Shep or Austen or whatever is going on in your life, that sometimes you have a habit of seeking out validation and attention from toxic places.
Yes.
Which can be a liability as a friend, because, from time to time, we're all, we're going to go through some shit, and we're going to go, we're going to have a hard time, and we're going to be low. And when we're low, we can't necessarily be these liabilities to the people around us and start forgetting about what it's like to be a friend, and just all of a sudden feel like I need that validation fix. I need attention. I need it from someone.
Yeah.
Do you recognize that? Is that a fair thing to
Absolutely.
say? And how do you
Yeah.
want to address that going forward?
No, that's a very fair assessment. I definitely was in that place where, again, I was like, I know where I need to ground myself. I know where I need to be. I kept saying these things of like where I knew I needed to be, but I just never did or took the steps to be there or get there. And so it was really tough trying to get to that point without like the help and guidance of maybe like an outsider, so like a therapist. And I never really believed in like therapy. I was like, I can fix myself. I got this. And it wasn't until after my brother's passing, I was like, I need to talk to somebody. So I did. I actually am in therapy sessions with his therapist. So somebody that used to talk to my brother. So it's really special that she can kind of like understand a little bit about my family or stuff like that. But yeah, she was like, you definitely were going through a time where you were seeking validation in all the wrong places. And you were trying to find like, what's going to make you happy? What's the easy fix? And whether that was partying or, kissing my ex's best friend, sending an unsolicited photo to Whitney. I was doing it all in the wrong ways. And I 100% see that. And, I take accountability, and I'm hoping to like better myself and move forward. And so,
Well, good for you.
yeah, therapy it's been good. I'm still a work in progress, no doubt. I will fall for sure. I will fall again.
Yeah, we're all human.
But-
What's one thing you've learned about yourself through therapy?
That I probably am a people pleaser. I need to be a little bit more just direct. Like, I don't ever want to like step on people's toes. I don't want to hurt anyone's feelings. I don't want to be a nuisance to anyone's life. So I just try to like tiptoe around, and I don't want to. I'm a people pleaser, and so I think too. Olivia said that she put it well. I cast my net wide with people, and like I do want to be friends with everybody. I have my close circle, but then I want to be friends with everyone. So that can kind of get myself into trouble because I can make some promises and then I don't end up following through, and then I feel bad about it, and I never want to hurt anyone's feelings, and so like just trying to be a little bit more direct and like what I want in my life, and maybe trying to like cast that net a little bit more shallow.
More narrow.
Yeah.
Well, I really appreciate you sharing that. Well, Olivia, we're going to lay off you for a second, and we have a caller calling in to ask for some relationship advice. And then when we get done with that, we'll keep it light, maybe learn a little bit more about your current relationship and boyfriend, see how that's going, and then we'll wrap it up.
Yeah, thank you.
So are we down to give some relationship advice to someone else?
Oh boy.
All right.
I think I'm ready.
This is all through.
I might not be the best.
This is
but-
all through. We've all made our own mistakes.
Yeah.
As we've, as you've acknowledged, and we offer advice through things we've learned, whether it was through successes and often our failures. So no
right.
pressure. No one's
Yeah.
expecting you to be an expert. Let's bring them up. Rocket Money. That's right. Rocket Money is a personal finance app that finds and cancels your unwanted subscriptions, monitors your spending, and helps you lower your bills all in one place. The most important part is those unwanted subscriptions. Did you know that most people on average are spending $720 a year on unwanted subscriptions and apps they do not use?
Through Rocket Money, I found out I'm still paying for a gym membership in Georgia that I got in 2017.
Not anymore.
Not
Now
anymore.
we canceled it.
Saving money.
Saving money. I myself saved over $1,000 by using Rocket Money, and you can be one of those beneficiaries of Rocket Money. All you got to do is get it. That's it. Just go and get it, and you will start saving in no time. They can also help lower your bill by up to 20%. It's really easy. I mean, it sounds too good to be true, but it's not. All you really got to do is take a picture of your bill, and Rocket Money takes care of the rest. Rocket Money has over 5 million users and has helped save its members, on average, $720 a year with over 500 million in canceled subscriptions. That's incredible savings. So let Rocket Money do the heavy lifting for you when it comes to managing your finances and help you stop wasting money, because, boy, who has money to waste? Nobody. Stop wasting that money on things you do not use. Cancel your unwanted subscriptions by going to rocketmoney.com/VIALL today. That's rocketmoney.com/VIALL. Rocketmoney.com/VIALL. Sundays is fresh dog food made from a short list of human-grade ingredients. Sundays was co-founded by Dr. Tori Waxman. Dr. Tori Waxman, a practicing veterinarian who tests and formulates every version of each recipe. If you love your canines, you want to make sure that they're eating good quality food, because what your dog puts in their body goes a long way to their health and, well, quite frankly, how long they're with us, because we all know our precious canines have shorter lives than us. And the more we can do to make sure that our lovable, furry dogs are with us as long as possible, well, you got to do what you can. And Sundays is helping those dog owners do just that. And the best part is, it's more affordable than some of those other high-quality dog food products out there because, well, they don't send you a big case of frozen food. Unlike other fresh dog food, Sundays does not require refrigeration or preparation because of their air drying process. Just pour and serve. So it's easy to travel with, which some of those other dog foods are not. When you start a Sunday subscription, you automatically get 20% off and free shipping on every reorder. Cancel or pause your subscriptions at any time with their 100% satisfaction guarantee.
Kiki is glowing.
I will say, Kiki is obsessed with Sundays. It travels with us. And there was one time we were in a hotel and I had to put it in a paper cup because I was a bad dog mom and I forgot her bowls. And she was walking around with that cup jammed on her mouth because she wanted every last drop of the sundaes.
We love.
Love, love, love. So if you care about your dog, you will get Sundays. It's that simple. Get 40% off your first order of Sundays. Go to sundaysfordogs.com/VIALL. Again, that's sundaysfordogs/VIALL, or use code VIALL at checkout for 40% off your first order. How's it going?
Good. How are you?
Good. What's your names?
I am Ava. I'm 29.
And I'm Caitlin, and I am 30.
And how can we help?
We are debating accepting an anonymous donation to go on a bachelorette party.
Okay. What do you mean by anonymous? And yeah, like what's going on? Give us the backstory.
Yeah, we can give you the backstory. It's a lengthy one a little bit, but I'll be concise as possible. So our friend is getting married this year, and we are planning the bachelorette party for it.
Okay.
So there's a good chunk of girls, like less than 15, but more than 10 going on it, essentially. Back in like November, I guess the maid of honor and the bride picked an Airbnb that they were both, happy with. The bride was happy with and accepted, but they didn't tell anybody that they booked an Airbnb. So we had no idea. And we had never discussed any sort of budgets, nothing at all. I guess her reasoning was, we're still figuring out who's coming and who can make it before we ask people about, if it's okay. So come January, we're like, hey, what's going on with the bachelorette party? We haven't talked about flights or anything. It's coming up. It's in a few months. Like, we should probably start planning. She's like, oh yeah, we have an Airbnb booked. But it's going to be like $415 per person. So pretty, like, more than we want to spend, obviously, for a 3-day trip too.
Including the flights.
Yeah. And then also the flights it's a busy travel weekend.
That's not
including
flights.
Not including flights. It's a busy travel weekend, so flights are probably going to be around $450 per person.
Okay.
We're traveling from the middle of the country to one of the coasts to go to the bachelorette party.
Gotcha.
So
And this is just out of budget.
it's just out of budget. Yeah, we didn't discuss any sort of budget. And so I think, and previously, the ones that I've been on, we've had a baseline discussion of where we're comfortable at and what we're good with. And so when she told us the price, and she didn't tell everybody in the group the price, she had only told the 3 of us the price because she hadn't gotten to talking to everybody yet.
Because we started asking.
The 3 of you is you
questions.
2 and the maid of honor? Or
So
who's the third?
it's the 2 of us, and then we have one other friend that are uncomfortable with the prices.
Okay.
The maid of honor is planning it, and then the rest of the group, I guess, is essentially good with the price.
Okay. So there's 3 of you who are uncomfortable with the price.
Yes.
Who now knows that the 3 of you are uncomfortable with the price?
Yeah. From our understanding, it is just the maid of honor and the bride knows, but we don't know who the bride has told.
Okay.
Supposedly it's being kept private.
Yes.
But we do not know anything for certain.
Where does this anonymous donation come in?
So the anonymous donation comes into play because
it's actually something I suggested because I had been on a trip previously where there was an Airbnb that the host wanted to have, and it was out of the budget for the people who were invited. And the host was like, this is where I want to stay. I'm going to put X amount of dollars down, and everybody else is going to pay this amount, which is the budget that had been determined. So I put it out there. I was like, if it's really this big of a deal, this is just an idea. We don't have to take it, but maybe we could find a way to supplement some of the cost of the Airbnb if that's what's really important to the bride. It was just an idea that was thrown out there. And so now we don't know who the anonymous donor is. We have our suspicions, but we have just been told that everyone else has supposedly agreed to this one price, and the 3 of us agreed to a price that was still a little higher than the budget we had told them we were comfortable with. And that there's an anonymous donor that's going to cover the difference between the 3 of us paying the lower amount and the amount that they actually need to be able to.
And the anonymous donors,
the bride wants.
Either, my guess, the husband of the bride, the parents of the bride, or the bride?
The husband of the maid of honor.
Yeah, the husband of the maid of honor is what kind of we're
Okay.
thinking at this point. Yeah.
So what's the problem?
I feel really frustrated right now because I think that there should have been a conversation about budgets ahead of time. And when we came to them, we unfortunately got put in this position where we didn't know about all of this planning. Then we were asked to help start planning. And then the three of us kind of had to like be this bad guy with the bride and be like, we're uncomfortable with this. And then it turned into this whole situation where the bride left here crying, and we were trying to lead with love and have a really gentle conversation, but also be honest about the fact that this is stretching us beyond our means. And now there's just this really awkward, uncomfortable, like almost embarrassing situation that we're in, because I'm just the planning process did not go in the order that
You want
every
it.
other bridal party I've ever been a part of has done
Okay.
it.
I think the other thing too is that we had a conversation. So the bride came over and we basically had a conversation with her and was like, we love you. We want to attend. Before there was any offer of the anonymous donation. The anonymous donation came in yesterday. So that's when that happened. Last week, we had a conversation with the bride saying, hey, we love you. We want to attend your bachelorette party, but where the price is at right now, like we aren't going to be able to do that. Like there's other bachelorette parties this year, lots of other stuff going on in our personal lives. Like it's
I'm also
just
planning my own wedding.
Yeah, like there's just other stuff going on in lives that it's like, do I want to spend that for one weekend for you? So essentially we told her we love her and we want to go. We want to do everything we can to go, but we're not comfortable with this price point. Can we look at other options? We start showing her other options and conversation ends in tears. She ends up leaving. So to us, from our perspective, it was, I want this Airbnb more than I want to be like, more than I care about our friendship of you coming, essentially, is how it felt in the conversation.
Okay, fair. I don't see it that way based off what I'm hearing. I mean, you listen, like it's totally okay for people to say, hey, this is out of my budget. I can't afford this.
Right.
And I get money's a very sensitive topic. I get that. And I think that's the thing we need to remember is that this is just sensitive all the way around. It's your friend's wedding. And if you've heard me talk about weddings, you've heard me say, if it's your wedding, it's your fucking wedding, and nothing, at the end of the day, when we're planning our wedding, Natalie and I are prioritizing her and I and what we want. And we're not putting much thought into really anyone else. And it's kind of like, this is what we want to do. This is what's important to us. We'd love you to be a part of it. If you can't, no problem. If you can, amazing. But we're not every day sitting down and be like, all right, well, let's talk about Cole. Cole's Natalie's cousin. He's sitting in the room right now. But like, because if you're going to have a wedding with 80, 50, 150 people, I don't know. Like everyone has different needs. If people are going to have to travel, you can't sit there and consider everyone's budget,
Right. Yeah.
And
that makes
it's
sense.
your friend's wedding, and she has the right to have the bachelorette party she wants to have, and she has the right to book whatever Airbnb. I'm not saying she handled it perfectly. That's obvious, right? And certainly she didn't handle it the way maybe other friends did, which made it a little easier, but it's still her wedding. You know what I'm saying? And so right now, I get where you guys are coming from, because now you feel like, all right, well, there's like 12 to 15 other women. Only 3 of us can't afford it. And now it's like we're the bad guys because, or we're the beggars who have to get a donation from someone. I get where you're coming from, but I feel like you could set your pride aside, take the donation,
I was just about to say
go to the
that.
bachelorette party, have a ball, and just let it go. If someone is willing to do this, that means they can afford it.
And that they also want you there.
And they want you there. So rather than seeing it as charity, see it as an act of love where they do. Like, because you're like, hey, how it feels to us is, well, this Airbnb is more important than our friendship. No, it's her wedding. She's thinking about what she wants. She's expecting you guys to be there, and granted, that's her mistake. She didn't sit there and consider budgets and things like that. She just assumed you'd all show up. But she wasn't sitting there going, well, if I book this Airbnb, who can actually make it? Well, I don't know if so-and-so and so-and-so can make it. Well, fuck them. I still would rather go to the Airbnb. I don't know your friend. I don't know anything about her. And I'm almost willing to bet a lot of money that wasn't her thought process.
Certainly. Yeah.
Right? So
hopefully not.
Yeah, hopefully not, but she's your friend. But like, I'm guessing no. But right now, you guys feel, I'm guessing, I don't want to put words in your mouth, a little uncomfy with the idea that you would have to accept this quote unquote donation. And are you guys lying about being able to afford this?
Well, we're not lying to the.
I'm not lying.
Okay.
I literally told the bride, I had said, like I run my own business. I told the bride, I said, I quite literally paid myself less than $40,000 last year as a 30-year-old person.
Yeah.
Like that, and I have my own wedding I'm working on planning, 2 other bachelorette parties that I have friends hoping for me to attend this year. And not that like, I get that it's the bride's day and that's fine, but where I was frustrated and now feel uncomfortable is that they booked this place with the assumption that we were just going to be, yes, like, here's all my money. And there was no consideration ahead of time of, okay, we're booking this place and the people responsible for it have no idea what they're going to be asked to cover until now. It's like kind of too late.
Yeah, it's
and
definitely,
now our backs are just up against the wall and it's just frustrating.
Yeah.
It was definitely a little inconsiderate of your friend, for sure. But I can promise you that Nally and I have not considered most of the people we are inviting to our wedding. We have only really considered us. It's our wedding.
Well, you're paying for the wedding though.
Yeah. That's true.
Yeah. So the bachelorette party, like, they're depending on the 3 of us being there to be able to pay for those 3.
That's fair.
Positions, if you will.
I'm not saying the bride handled it perfectly. I'm just saying, it is her wedding.
Personally, I have a hard time just like letting things go without like having some sort of resolve.
Okay.
And like, I feel like I would like to have some sort of conversation with the bride to just be like, I love you so much, but this was very frustrating. And I would like some sort of like recognition of how she made us feel. And I just like don't know if it's like worth it to have that conversation beforehand or at all. I don't know.
I don't think it's worth it. Look, what's important to you? I guess, what are you trying to accomplish here? Are you looking for peace and have fun on this bachelorette party, or are you looking to be validated and have
I just don't have pent up frustration when we get there.
Well, you're gonna have to let it go.
Yeah. And lie about the anonymous donation.
And
like, no one knows about
everybody else. Like, they're paying this amount, having no idea that we're going to like this.
Well, they can afford it, And again, that's why I say unless you're lying about it, and pretending to be cheap for the sake of, stubbornness, which I don't think that you are. All you really need is a little humility in the sense that, hey, I can't afford it right now. And listen, I've been there, like, I'm in a good place now, but that hasn't always been where I was at in my adult life. There have been moments where I've been surrounded by friends that had more income and more extra cash than I had. And I didn't like that feeling. And I didn't like being like, yeah, sorry guys, I can't afford that. I'm not going to go, or, I don't know what you want. And sometimes I had to quote unquote accept charity. Hey, we got it, Nick, or whatever. Or sometimes I had to just not go. And that does suck. But I think we need to think about the big picture here. And the big picture is, as there is a solution in place for you two to go to this bachelorette party closer to the budget that you're comfortable with and to celebrate the bride. And that's kind of what it's all about. And maybe down the road, fine, you could bring it up, but I don't know, like, you're planning a wedding. I'm sure there's a million things going on. And I'm guessing at some point you aren't going to consider a certain person's feelings and they might be upset with you. It's possible.
Potentially.
Yeah. No,
and do you really want to die on this hill, so to speak? Is it, I guess that's my question.
Yeah.
I don't feel like we have a choice really at this point. Like, we've said we could do the other amount, and then now we just like have this, and we're like, okay, well, I guess that's what we're doing.
Yeah, listen, I get it. I get your frustration. She picks the place you can't afford, and your only option to go is to accept a charity that you don't want to accept, and then hope that this remains a secret, because if not, you guys feel like you're going to be like attacked by everyone else who had to pay more, yada, yada, yada. But I don't think this needs to be that big of a deal.
Yeah.
I really.
Yeah, it's just what's happening right now. So that's why we were like, let's see what Nick has to say about this. Because yesterday we were literally speculating. We were like, what would Nick say?
Yeah.
Well, did you guess right or wrong?
We guessed pretty. I feel
partially.
I feel like we knew you would see both sides because you always are pretty good at that.
Yeah.
That's why you do
I see your side, but big picture wise, I'm going to always side with the bride. It's her wedding, so to speak. And it's not to say that she couldn't have been more thoughtful and more considerate. That's what I'm hearing. Right now, you want to know that you're right.
I just want some acknowledgement that it was kind of fucked up.
Sure. I hear you. Yeah.
Like, I'm just
I guess, and then my question is, how important is that? Are you willing to get that if it affects your friend's bachelorette party? What would you rather have? Her happiness and her
ego at this point. Yeah.
Would you rather have her
fun,
have
for
great
sure.
memories of her bachelorette party, or would you rather have the lasting memory of her bachelorette party, this drama with the two of you?
No, I want it to be gone before we get there,
Yeah,
which is why I want to like figure out how to just let it go.
That's not what not go, maybe gone isn't the choice, because most likely it's not going to be resolved before. You're going to have to just swallow your pride,
right?
Yeah.
and go, and maybe down the line after the wedding be like, it just kind of bothered me. And then if you think it's from this guy, when you have a little extra cash down the road, you can pay it forward or pay it back when your business takes off and you're paying yourself $400,000 a year rather than 40. But yeah, I get your frustrations, but do you want to be right or do you want to be happy?
Happy. You're right. You're right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it is like you just put your ego aside, accept the person who's anonymously donating, and maybe pull her aside at one point, just be like, I thank you for doing that. Like, I'm really glad that we can be here and celebrate you. And that will kind of put all the drama aside. And then later on down the road, you can be, if you want to, you can be like, I mean, honestly, I think that in the moment, it seems like it's really big. But once you guys get there and everybody's having a good time, that's going to be like the last thing on anyone's mind.
And that's exactly it. It just feels so big right now. I feel like, because we're just living in it. It's been happening every single day that we've been like working it up so much to the point where we're like trying to see all the sides of it. And so I think once we're there and having fun, it'll definitely be for the best.
Yeah.
Yes.
And you haven't considered the alternative, because I know you're like, our friend handled it this way. The alternative is she fell in love with this Airbnb, considered your two's financial
It's got Instagram
position.
worthy pics, I'm sure.
Yeah. Well, she thought about it, fell in love with
David Dobrik style Airbnb.
Oh yeah.
Okay,
yeah. There you go.
I would want it too. I'm gonna be honest.
Well, we've been to it.
pretty nice.
We've been to his house. It's pretty cool. But yeah, she could have fell in love with this place and then been like, oh, well, those two can't afford it, and then got something else, and then for the whole entire trip, you guys could have like been.
She's like, well, we could have been at this
the
other
secret
house,
bad guys, but like they couldn't afford it. You know what I'm saying? Like, had she considered your feelings,
that we had to be the bad guy. If they would have included everybody from the beginning, it wouldn't have ended up like this. But they just like assumed that people were capable of what they. And she did.
I think she
had 3 months to fall in love with it without telling anyone else.
She was inconsiderate. That's what it was. She didn't consider.
That's
she fell in love with it, and she's like, "This is what I want, and this is what we're gonna do." And I'm just, if there's one time to be inconsiderate, it's your wedding.
Also, at the end of the day, like she really wants you both there. That's why she offered to, have like an anonymous donator. And that was she really wants you guys there. She could have just said, oh, I could find 2 other people or 3 other people or everybody else can cover the cost. But it's like, no, she made it a
see
point.
You at the wedding,
Yeah. She wants you guys there. So I would just take it as like a thank you,
Don't come.
Or what Mr. Anonymous Donor would probably just step up. I listen, you're mad, you're frustrated, you feel like your feelings weren't considered. I get it. And you have the right to feel the way you do, but you also, I think, need to let it go for the sake of peace, because I don't think this is all that big of a deal. And I think it feels a little bit bigger. And because you feel like you've almost been outed, and it's never fun to be like, I can't afford that. It's never fucking fun. It sucks. And so I empathize with you guys there, but I feel like it's a little heavy. It feels a little heavier than it actually is. And I think if you guys just go, like Taylor said, have a ball, like this will not be the lasting conversation at this. You know what I'm saying? It's just big picture wise, not that big of a deal.
Yeah. The practice of letting go. And the nice thing about it is she has no idea that we're actually getting this one. So she thinks we're staying at another one. So she'll be surprised once we get there.
There you go.
So it'll be a good thing.
And maybe you'll find a way to pay it forward or pay it back down the line. It's
definitely.
Okay, this is like separate aside from this conversation, but I just have to tell you what I actually do. I'm actually a content creator, and I just started a podcast this year. I do make content with my little brother. He has Down syndrome. He's obsessed with wrestling. So I just recently actually met Kathy Kelly, and I was like, oh, I know you. I listened to you on the Viall Files. We were backstage at Friday Night SmackDown when they were here in our town.
Congratulations.
But,
do you want to plug your show?
I do, but I'm like scared it's gonna get back to them. But at this point, I mean, like, it's called Baker Banter.
Okay, yeah, I feel like it's worth it. I think it's worth it.
Worth
yeah.
it.
Yeah.
It's called Baker Banter, and our podcast is called Baker's Bantering.
Is it out? Where could anywhere people listen to the podcast?
Yeah, it's called Baker's Bantering. You can watch it on YouTube. You can listen on all the platforms where you can listen to podcasts. If you like wrestling, which I don't know if your audience overlaps with the wrestling audience.
Probably not a ton, but we do also have hundreds of thousands of people listening to us. So
yeah, we do talk about wrestling a lot, but we talk about a lot of other stuff too, and just like life as a family who has somebody with an intellectual disability and growing up and what that looks like. And my brother is hilarious.
He is one of a kind.
That's awesome.
All right. Well, congratulations on the show. Go listen, everyone, and swallow your pride and go have a blast.
Yeah, we will. Thank you guys so much.
All right.
Thank you and Natalie.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We will want to. When is this bachelorette party?
End of March.
Yeah.
All right. Perfect. We want an update.
We will let you know how it goes.
All right. Take care, ladies.
We can send you the link to the Airbnb too if you want to see
it.
Please.
Actually,
and I want to see it.
Send.
Yeah, we'll send it to you guys.
Yeah. All right. Thank you. Take care.
Much.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.
I fucking love a messy bachelorette party drama.
Do you?
It's like guys do not ever deal with that shit ever.
They don't.
I don't know what it is.
I know, y'all are lucky. We take everything to heart. We're like, did you see the way she said hi?
This bitch fucking
she just
hates
said
me.
Hi.
She didn't
say hey.
Yeah.
You have a boyfriend.
I do.
How's that going?
It's going really great.
Remind the audience who he is.
Gaston, like from Beauty and the Beast. Yes.
Gaston.
Gaston. Yes.
Okay.
I thought it was Gaston, like
Gaston.
Gaston.
No, he's from New York. So
he's from New York.
He's from New York.
But now he's also on Southern Hospitality.
He made a little tiny cameo in a picture actually. His roommate, who's one of my best friends, TJ, is on Southern Hospitality. And they've been living together. He kind of took TJ in as TJ was he was looking for a place to live and he had an extra bedroom. So he was like, come live with me. And it's been going really well. So they love living together. And so that's kind of how I got introduced to him.
How long have you guys been dating for?
About 4 or 5 months.
Okay. How's it going?
Going really great.
Best and worst thing. Well, not worst, but thing you love the most and because 4 months.
Yeah.
Still pretty new.
Oh, yeah.
In
We're
Viall
still learning
Files
each
terms,
other.
we tell a lot of people you still don't know each other.
Oh, absolutely. We're definitely still learning each other's quirks. But I just love how he, for the longest time, would just listen to me. And then I finally was like, do you have any response? Or do you just, do you not care? And he was like, oh, I have a lot of things to say.
Nick is
I just listen to you because I'm letting you get all these things out. He's like, do you want to hear my opinion? I'm like, do I want to hear your opinion? And so when he finally was actually talking to me, not just as boyfriend, girlfriend, but as a friend and a comrade, I was like, I really appreciate you. You actually care about me. You're not just listening to your girlfriend. You're listening, but you have things to say, but you're trying to respect my space of being open. And so that's what I think I love the most about him. And then we're still learning each other's quirks.
Maybe
he gets really quiet when he's tired.
No.
So, and I don't like that. I'm like, are you mad at me? He's like, no, I'm just really tired. I'm like, are you sure? Can I do it? And he's like, stop asking me if I'm mad at you. I'm just tired.
What's maybe that's it, but what's something that you appreciate about this relationship that you didn't have with your relationship with Shep?
I think it goes back to that kind of just the really caring, listening and caring and actually being invested in my life, even if it seems silly or, I overthink everything. And he's like, stop overthinking. Shep would I never really had these deep conversations with Shep where I was like, I'm going through something and I really need your advice on this. What do you think? He would just be like, and he'd be like, well, I don't get it. What are you talking about? It doesn't matter.
He was just inconvenienced with
just
anything heavy.
I don't really care. He doesn't like drama. He doesn't. I'm like, it's funny that you don't like drama yet. Your whole job in life is drama.
He loves drama.
I think secretly, yeah.
Have you left pleased more than 5 times?
Yes.
Gaston? Okay, good.
He's a great lover.
Great. We love to hear that. Thank God.
Yes, very happy.
Thank God. That was an interesting.
That was not an intentional jab. He was like, stop saying that. I was like, I'm not trying to like jab at you. I'm not. I was asked a question and I'm going to answer it.
And he's like, I don't know. It's like everyone's like, they're all finicky. Like, and I don't know how to really get that. My tongue get tired. I don't know. You know, like he wasn't helping himself in that situation.
Yeah, I mean, he was like, stop telling people I'm bad. I was like, I never said you're bad. I just said that I mean, it doesn't mean that I was like, I hated every second. You said you enjoy, I was like, no, I still had a great day. It just doesn't mean that I was fully satisfied. But, whatever. It doesn't mean that I was hating my life.
Yeah. I don't know, Shep. We DM'd a few times. We were trying to figure out a time for him to come on. But he does not come across necessarily, and I could be wrong, as the most generous, attentive lover.
There's hope.
Yeah. Maybe.
I mean, there's hope. Like he just...
I mean,
I don't know. It's very odd.
Comes across as the guy who like kind of gets off and goes, "Did you come?" You know, like he does give off that vibe.
He doesn't even ask that.
It's like after you give him a blowjob, he's like, "All right, did you come too?" Yeah. It's like,
that's not how it works.
Yeah. Shep, if you're listening, I love you.
No, I do too. I do too. I mean, it's no shade at all. I think it goes back to that. Like, it's exciting for him, like when he's doing something wrong or bad, and like. He really does. He used to, and he's putting his pride aside, and he really is trying to better himself, and he's wanting to make changes for the first time ever. I mean,
it's been a while since the reunion. Where do you think he's at with his sobriety?
I know where he is. He's actually in Costa Rica right now doing a retreat, an ayahuasca retreat.
Okay.
So he had been kind of doing some research about it. And you have to like take all these precautions and like be sober. You can't have sex. You can't eat this. Like a month before going down. So he was like, I really am in search for something. And of course, we're like, we know what that void is that you're looking to fill. Like, I know where to fill it, but like, I'm not ever going to be the type of person to like shove anything down your throat or in your face, or like, I'm so happy to hear that he's open for the first time ever in his life, that he's sitting there going, I'm wanting and willing and ready to make changes. And that's awesome. I'm really happy for him. So
there's a Buffalo Bills player, I forget his name, but recently talked about, hear me out. We're going to talk football. That he struggled with alcoholism and ayahuasca. He had some sort of journey,
awakening,
and it's helped.
Yeah,
you know, it's really changed.
Is it Jordan Poyer?
Yes, thank you, Allie.
Okay, Allie.
Jordan Poyer.
Sorry.
I was gonna say it's her with a P, but so yeah, maybe at least he is trying.
Exactly.
That's step one is to
step
recognize and see
yeah
what he can do to fix it. So
for the longest time, he just was like, he would always make the dad joke, change. I don't want to change. I like what I'm wearing. And you're like, you need to make changes in your life. And he's like, I never want to change. Like, it never gets old. And, he just was so set in his ways. And I was like, all right, well, he's in his 40s. You can't teach an old dog new tricks. I'm just, I accept him for who he is. He's a wild child, but he has these very raw and real moments. And that's the moments that I saw. And those are the moments and the person that I fell in love with. But to see him like recognizing that he needs to make changes, I'm like, yes, there's a lot more to life than just like partying and filling that void with, the next best thing. And
is your boyfriend comfortable with your friendship with Shep?
I think he's understanding of it. Obviously I'm not, we used to talk a lot about like the show, and especially when it was first airing and I was doing Watch What Happens, he would call to check in. How did it go? Oh, you went to drinks with, okay, that's good. That's a good sign. That's awesome. How was Jax? How was, it was like all these different questions. And I'm having this conversation with my boyfriend sitting right next to me. And I was like, I'm really sorry if that bothers you. I know we're talking about work, but like, I know it's my ex. And I was like, I hope you can understand that we have like a friendship and it's nothing more than that. And it never will be. Like, I can promise you. And he was like, no, it doesn't bother me. And then it wasn't until at BravoCon when Shep kind of like overstepped his boundaries. And, like he admitted, he was like, I was blackout the entire weekend. And I don't remember coming up to you and like smacking you on the ass. And so that's what kind of like led into this whole thing. Like, I need to make changes. And so anyways, but yeah, Gaston, he was like, that was not cool. Like, your ex-boyfriend just came up to you, smacked you on the ass, and you just kind of sat there dumbfounded. Like, And I was like, well, yeah, because I am. I was like, my ex is meeting my boyfriend for the first time. And he just, I mean, I kind of dodged it. It wasn't like a full on, I kind of dodged it. I was like, hi. I was like, this is Gaston, by the way. And he just kind of stared at him. Like, Shep was like, hey, man, you know, he's kind of, you know, had a few drinks, whatever. But Gaston was like, yeah, I just saw that. Like, not cool, bro. And so that's kind of where I was like, I know that you're uncomfortable with this. And I was like, I know that we talk about work a lot, but I was like, I want you to know that there's like, he's never like trying to reach out to like slither his way back in.
Nevertheless, if Gaston said to you, Taylor, I get it. I trust that you're never going to want to get back together, but like Shep just gives me just vibes that I don't feel comfortable with because, you know, Shep does come across as a guy who doesn't like to be told what to do.
Yeah.
Downplays everything to the point of annoyance. And he doesn't come across as a guy who necessarily respects boundaries a ton.
Yeah, I can see that.
And if your boyfriend, Gaston, said, hey, listen, I'm just not comfortable with this friendship. And I need you to respect that. What do you think you would do?
I would respect that. Yeah. I mean, it would be unfortunate in the sense that like I would never want, and I don't think that Shep would feel this way or like have this persona where he's like, aha, like I finally got under his skin, like I'm the alpha here. But I'm almost like there's times where I talk to my family or my friends, I'm like, he did what he did, and like he's trying to like claim his territory, Taylor. Like he's like, I was here first. I want you to know that. And it's like, I'm like,
Exes
that's not, yeah.
There's
I'm
a
like,
lot of
that's
people who
not
like break up with people. It's
respectful.
like, I don't want to be with you, but I don't want you to be with anyone else.
Right.
Mhm.
And I don't, you know, and like
I
I said
kind of-
before, you and Shep on this past season both seem to do that. That kind of
Right.
like, yeah, I don't want to be with you, but I want to know that you still pine for me.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. And we definitely did a lot of that. And I think, I don't know if it's an excuse, but genuinely Shep like wants to be friends with everybody. But I think that there is this like different level of friendship that we have.
Yeah,
or
even like
that
when
he, like,
JT was like,
might
I love
see,
you.
yeah.
And then Shep walks up and says, come here.
Yeah.
Not please, you know, he just has this way of communicating to you in a way that I'm not saying it's Machiavellian in nature, but he's no dummy,
Right.
you know, and he knows how to maneuver with people so naturally that like he doesn't have to think about it. He doesn't have to be like,
Right.
how do I get Taylor to feel a certain way? It's just
He
it's
just kind of does it.
he just knows how to make people feel a little bit under his spell. He knows how to like invoke his power. It's
Yeah.
a skill set he has.
It is. And he kind of does it in a way that's like, I mean, no harm.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh,
I'm
yeah,
not-
yeah,
I'm not-
It's all
yeah,
chill.
it's-
It's all,
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah, it's all good. It's all chill. Like, everything's fine. But yeah, no, I would definitely respect that. And
Okay.
and like we've had conversations like, hey, it does make me feel uncomfortable that you're like that you guys talk a lot and it's about work. I understand that, but he seems to want to talk about work a lot.
Well,
Mhm.
work for you
And-
guys.
Is like our reality.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's I think that's
Um,
what fascinates at least me and so many of the fans of Bravo is to figure out what is work, the
Right.
show, and what is
And
your
what is
lives
real.
and what's the
Right.
overlap, you know?
But yeah, so I mean, I had that conversation with Shep. I was like, I hope you like when we're talking about work, like no more than that. Like, don't call to just like check in or this was, you know, a while ago that we had this. And so like it strictly is like obviously I know about his journey with the ayahuasca stuff because he wanted to tell me about that. You know, before reunion and stuff. So you know, I wish him the best and like he really is he's a good guy despite what people have seen. I've had those moments where I go, I understand what you're saying and like what you see. And like that is a part of who Shep is. But there's also this whole other side to him that's just like so raw and real and trustworthy. I mean, he comes from a great family. He's got friends from childhood that just can vouch for him time and time and time again. So at the end of the day, like he really is a good person and I'm happy that he's making changes in his life.
Well, I think that's a great place to end it.
Yeah.
Taylor, it's been a real pleasure.
Thank you
Yeah,
guys both
thank-
for having me.
Thanks so much for
Congratulations
coming.
again.
Thank
I'm
you.
so excited for you guys.
Thank you. It
Uh,
was
3
so
weeks
fun.
and counting.
We really wish you nothing but the best.
Thank you.
and hopefully next season isn't as hellish as these past two seasons. And hopefully, you know, more than anything, congratulations on getting into therapy and
Thank you.
doing the work. And I wish you And we wish you nothing but the best. And hopefully someday you and Olivia can mend some
Yes,
fences.
absolutely.
If you could say anything to Olivia right now, what would you say to her? Maybe we'll close on there if she's listening.
Yeah, I really do hope to, just be able to see eye to eye, get on the same page, and just have a real conversation, not on camera. Really just want to have like a coffee chat, like the conversations that we used to have, not with the world, but just with each other.
Well, thank you guys for listening. We thank Taylor once again. Don't forget to send in those questions at asknick@theviallfiles.com for all things texting office hours, mediation, Ask Nick, all of the above. We'll be back on Monday for another Ask Nick, and don't miss it. Thanks for listening. Bye. Hey guys, if you loved what you listened to, make sure you hit that subscribe button below. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next time.